just because I refuse to accept a political marriage. I turn around and propose to a strange marquis. He gently accepts. However, on our first date, he actually wants to personally send me to the auction stage. I never expect that this romance almost cost me my life. One morning, father summons me to his study and orders me to quickly choose a young master to marry. After hearing this, I feel somewhat at a loss. Father adds that my sisters all have political marriages, so I must obey. I obediently agree on the surface, but internally I'm resisting like crazy. Father nods with satisfaction and tells me to go back and prepare. I respectfully acknowledge and turn to walk out of father's study. I secretly think to myself that I absolutely cannot let anyone arrange my life. I don't want to be like my sisters and stay with men I don't like. I clench my dress and decide I will find my own man and absolutely will not compromise. So I confidently arrive at the banquet, but I'm a bit confused. I run out too blindly without proper preparation. Because this is my first time attending a social gathering, I don't understand anything. To immediately find a man to fall in love with from here seems absurd even to myself. No, if I look carefully, I can definitely find my Prince Charming. First step, let me start by eating some cake to ease my nervousness. Ah, there are other types of cakes over there. I turn my head to look. I'm contentedly eating my cake when I suddenly hear the sound of someone falling. It's an orange-haired young lady who falls. She curses. Who dropped something here? Made me fall. Oh no, I just realized my cream puff is missing. I hear her continue shouting about who did it, looking very angry. I panic inside. Uh-oh, if I get caught, it won't just be a scolding. So I quietly apologize while running away to hide. Running to the balcony, I look at the moon and sigh. Sigh. I seem to have messed up, but at least the cake is really delicious. Suddenly someone calls me from behind. I turn around and see a white-haired handsome man. The aura around him is very noble. He smiles and asks me if the commotion just now is caused by me, but I don't really listen to what he says, completely mesmerized by his looks. I'm even so surprised that the cake in my hand drops to the ground. He says not to worry, he won't step on it and won't fall like that lady just now. I feel this person gives me a special feeling, so I quickly put down the remaining cake, start fixing my posture, introduce myself saying my name is Esmeralda Vines, and ask if he minds sharing his distinguished name. He introduces himself, saying he is Alphonse Midford. Never heard of him. Without thinking much, I start thanking him for knowing I caused the commotion but not exposing me. He says he just feels there's no need to make the commotion bigger, and besides, the scene of someone falling with cream on their shoes is quite amusing. I can't help but laugh, saying, "Lord Midford, you're quite humorous." He replies that if I had witnessed it myself, I would definitely laugh too. I answer somewhat guiltily that I panicked at the time and ran away without seeing clearly. Haha. I look at him thinking he's really interesting, and most importantly, super handsome. So I ask Lord Midford, "Do you like absurd things?" He replies that he doesn't dislike such things. Hearing this, I quickly ask, in that case, do you want to date me with marriage as the goal? He's instantly shocked by my words. He says that making such a request on first meeting really surprises him. I reply that I'll take that as a compliment, then ask what he thinks. He thinks for a moment, then replies that he will consider it carefully. After hearing this, I'm secretly delighted. Great, there's hope. Then I remind him that if he agrees, please send a letter to the Vines family within a week. He takes my hand and replies that he understands. Then he lightly kisses the back of my hand and takes his leave. Being kissed on the hand by a gentleman for the first time, I feel my heartbeat instantly accelerate and can't stop. After leaving the balcony, Alphonse returns to the ball. Gallo wraps his arm around him from behind, extremely excited. He asks how today's party was and if it was fun. Alphonse says it's not bad. He meets an interesting young lady. Gallo curiously asks who. Alphonse says on first meeting, she asks him if he wants to have a romance with her. Gallo exclaims, "Oh my god, really?" After all the young ladies in the Empire only dare to watch him from afar. That lady really has courage. Alphonse says helplessly that he's exaggerating, but she does successfully catch his interest. On the other side, at my family estate, I stand on the balcony and my heart magically starts to miss him. Will he accept my romantic invitation? However, after a long time, there's still no news from him. I start sighing. He clearly says he will consider it carefully earlier. Does he still disagree after all? Suddenly, I hear the sound of a carriage approaching me. I immediately turn my head to look. A servant comes over to deliver a letter saying it's from Mr. Midford. I quickly tear open the letter, my heartbeat suddenly racing. The letter says he accepts my romantic proposal from that day, and says if my feelings haven't changed, to take the carriage to his estate. He says he has something to tell me in person. After reading it, I'm instantly delighted. The servant asks if I'm willing to go now. I quickly nod. Of course, but this is the first official meeting. I can't just wear anything. So I smile and tell the servant to wait 10 minutes for me to change clothes. Then I quickly push open the door and run in to change. I quickly change into my favorite yellow dress and come out. As I'm going downstairs, Mother suddenly calls my name. She asks where I'm going. I think it's too early to tell Mother about Lord Midford now, so I just say I'm going to a friend's house, that my friend sends a carriage to pick me up. Then I quickly go downstairs. I go out wearing my beautiful clothes. The servant respectfully invites me to board the carriage. I start to look forward to it. Lord Midford, here I come. Soon after, the carriage arrives. At an extremely luxurious estate, I'm instantly amazed. I quickly tell myself to stay calm and not panic. I walk forward and knock on the door. The butler comes to open the door and welcomes me. I say a bit nervously that I'm here to see Lord Midford. The butler says the master is waiting in the reception room and will take me there, so I follow the butler. Along the way, I secretly marvel at how luxurious this estate is. The butler arrives at the study door and reports that I'm here. The person inside says to let me in. I quickly respond. Then I enter the study. The first thing that catches my eye is Alphonse's handsome face. I start swooning again, thinking he's really super handsome. Then I quickly correct myself. I need to get down to business. At this moment, Alphonse speaks up to welcome me and thanks me for coming. Then he invites me to sit down and has someone prepare tea and snacks. He apologizes for replying to me so late. I quickly say it's okay. As long as I can hear a positive answer in the end, I'm very satisfied. He says from today on, we are officially dating lovers. I agree, then suggests we start by changing how we address each other. He starts to wonder if we need to change how we address each other. I say yes. Always calling me Miss is too distant. Just use the nickname Amy to call me. He laughs at my suggestion and says then just call him Alphonse. I smile and agree. Then I start eating the cake. At this moment, he suddenly asks if the Vines family is an Earl family. I say yes, and curiously ask how he knows. He explains that we don't understand each other, which is why he invites me to meet, wanting to introduce himself. I instantly think he's not only a gentleman, but also very considerate. He introduces himself, saying he is Marquis Alphonse Midford, the loyal hound who helps His Majesty the Emperor solve problems. What? After hearing this, I'm completely stunned. As everyone knows, in the Central Great Empire Cerbellon, the current Emperor Coriclio is a merciful and kind person. Under his careful governance, the entire empire always remains peaceful, but there are always dark forces in the empire trying to break this phenomenon, in order not to let the darkness of the underground society seep into normal society, and also to display the empire's strength and its consistent peaceful and stable appearance. The emperor secretly raises a special existence called the Loyal Hound. The so-called Loyal Hound is a person granted power above the law by the emperor. Their core duty is to fully suppress the chaotic underground society. The Loyal Hound is cold and ruthless, and extremely good at scheming. When handling various affairs, they never care about what methods or means they use. And now I'm actually dating such a person? Before I can react, he smiles and asks if, as his lover, I'm willing to do anything with him. My heart suddenly panics. I frantically shout inside, what does this suddenly mean? What do you think? He continues to ask. I instantly panic. What do I think? I don't want to date a loyal hound. Suddenly I have a flash of inspiration and think of a reason to refuse him. So I quietly start to tentatively say, well, actually, my parents might not allow me to be with you. However, he smiles and says, if that's the case, I don't need to worry. What? I don't understand what he means. Until he brings me to my home. He directly asks father to allow him to date me with marriage as the goal. I mutter to myself that father shouldn't agree to this absurd proposal. To my surprise, my dear father agrees straightforwardly. Father, I'm so shocked I can't form complete sentences. Thank you, he thanks father. Then the two start exchanging pleasantries. I complain internally that father must agree because of his marquis status, agreeing to establish connections with the royal family. So selfish. Then he suggests letting me move to his house. Huh, wait, what? Why suddenly say this? I panic again. Good, father agrees straightforwardly again. I'm completely dumbfounded. Father starts reminding me not to trouble the marquis. Yes, father. At this point, I can only reluctantly agree. So I board the carriage heading to the marquis's mansion again. In the carriage, Alphonse smiles and says everything is settled. Yes, I respond quietly, my heart full of grievance. I think if I back out now, I'll definitely be punished by father. He continues, saying that actually over the past week, he's been preparing my room. I wonder. So he agrees to my romantic proposal early on. I totally feel like I'm being played. Soon, he brings me to the room arranged for me. Wow. Seeing the room, I can't help but exclaim, seeing you like it puts my mind at ease, he says gently. Then he introduces me to the maid Lillian, who will serve me from now on. Well then, Amy, see you later, he says and turns to leave. I smile and wave goodbye to him, swooning over his back. Suddenly, I snap back to reality and quickly remind myself not to get distracted. Don't be fooled by his face anymore, or I'll seem too easy. Do you need help changing into a comfortable dress? Lillian asks softly. Please do. I nod in agreement. Arriving at the dining room, Alphonse gentlemanly pulls out a chair for me. Then he suggests we slowly chat while dining. I smile and agree, but inside I think I have an ominous feeling. So I get straight to the point and ask what role I should play. He says I just need to help him do some things that are inconvenient for him to do alone. I'm still a bit worried and ask if there will be any danger. He promises me nothing will happen that would injure me, so my heart starts to waver. Wait a minute. I suddenly think of a key question. So I ask if he agrees to my romance just to use me. He's initially surprised, then pretends to be aggrieved, and says his affection for me exceeds work considerations. Hearing him say this, my doubts gradually dissipate, so I reply that I understand. Then I'll help him while seriously dating. Alphonse smiles and agrees. Then he changes the subject, saying, he prepares some desserts for me to try. My attention attention is instantly transferred to the cake. Time moves to the next day. I'm still sleeping in my room. Lillian gently comes in with breakfast to wake me up, introducing that today's breakfast includes cranberry tart and specially mixed milk tea. Wow, this is really luxurious. I take a sip of milk tea and can't help but marvel. By the way, where's Alphonse? I ask about his whereabouts. Lillian respectfully replies that he's in the study, so I come to the study door and knock gently. After getting permission, I open the door and walk into the study, softly saying good morning to him. Alphonse puts down the invitation in his hand, looks up at me, says good morning, and asks if I sleep well. I reply that I sleep very well. Then he changes the topic, smiling and saying there's a masquerade ball tonight. Am I willing to go with him? A masquerade ball? I'm full of curiosity. I can't help but start fantasizing about dancing with him. That would be so romantic. I want to go. I want to go. After snapping back to reality, I quickly agree. So he thoughtfully says he will select a suitable gown for me. I continue excitedly, suggesting we wear matching masks. After all, we're a couple. Alphonse smiles gently and nods, agreeing to my request. Then we start carefully preparing for tonight's ball. At night, the ball entrance is brilliantly lit, illuminating the mysterious manor. As soon as I get off the carriage, I'm shocked by the grandeur of this secluded building. I quietly ask Alphonse if we need an invitation to enter. He gently takes my hand and leads me toward the door, while calmly presenting the exquisite invitation he prepares beforehand. Following him into the venue, I curiously look around at the environment. When we arrive at the central area of the ball, I can't help but exclaim, "This place is filled with a mysterious yet elegant, unique atmosphere." Alphonse says softly that seeing me like it puts his mind at ease, but he then reminds me that although he wants me to enjoy the ball, we still have an important task that needs to start immediately. What? Work? I widen my eyes, unable to believe my ears. He lowers his voice to explain, "Actually, this isn't an ordinary masquerade ball, but an auction site for high-priced pets." Pets? Auction? I frown, not understanding. He continues explaining, not puppies or kittens, but the buying and selling of humans. Humans? I'm so scared my heart races wildly. How can they do that? He replies that this is the reality, and men aren't allowed to come here alone. He takes my hand and says it's thanks to me that he can enter effortlessly. This opportunity only comes once, so he wants to completely eradicate this today. For this, he needs my help one more time. I immediately agree and ask what I should do, but he suddenly says to please participate in the auction. What? I can't believe my ears. I'm actually the one being sold as merchandise? He smiles and tells me not to worry. Nothing will happen that would sell me to someone else. As soon as he finishes speaking, two burly men walk up to me. Alphonse tells the men that I'm today's auction item. Oh my god, is this real? I'm so scared I feel dizzy. Suddenly, the men rudely come to grab me. Alphonse leans close and whispers, "You must stay with the person who has wings. And if anything happens, say you are sent by Dr. V." After saying this, he even gives me a thumbs up. What does that even mean? I scream internally as the men drag me away. This is terrible. After being locked up, I crouch in the corner and sigh. I'm so excited thinking it's an ordinary date, like an idiot. No, this is Alphonse's fault. How can he decide without consulting me? Suddenly, someone bangs the iron door of the room I'm in with a stick. The man fiercely threatens us, saying if we want to meet a good master, we should all behave. I quietly repeat the word master, my heart filled with fear and anger. When I turn to look around, I can't help but gasp. I discover the room behind me is packed with people. Are all these people going to be auctioned as pets? My gaze wanders through the crowd. Suddenly, it fixes on a certain spot. A green-haired, handsome man stands out, the white wing pattern on his back shining brightly. This person with the wing mark reminds me of Alphonse's reminder. He says to stay with such a person to ensure safety. So I gather my courage and quietly move toward the green-haired man. He keenly senses movement and suddenly turns to look at me. He says something, but unfortunately I completely don't understand. His tone is quite unfriendly. I don't know if he's scolding me. I blink in confusion, completely not understanding what he means. What language is this? I quietly mutter as he already turns to leave. Not long after, a burly man walks to the green-haired man's side, rudely grabs his hair and pulls back hard. The green-haired man struggles in pain, his face instantly turning very pale. How can you treat people like this? I can't help but shout. The man turns and yells that the auction is about to start. Of course they have to send him to the stage, so I say loudly, "Since you're sending this person to the stage, send me up too." The green-haired man suddenly speaks, though I still can't understand. The man's eyes are fierce as he says, "Who do you think you are?" He raises his hand to hit me. "I'm sent by Dr. V." I quickly shout that sentence loudly. The man's hand stops in midair. He snorts coldly and tells me to follow along. Although I don't know what's going on, it actually works. I breathe a sigh of relief. The man grabs the green-haired man and signals me to follow as they walk out together. What do I do now? I think as I walk. Then a strong light suddenly shines over, making me unable to open my eyes. I'm pushed forward as I hear someone shouting loudly that the merchandise is on stage. I stand in the middle, completely frozen, because I see a dense crowd of people sitting below the stage. And these people don't treat people as people. I clench my fists in anger. "Then let's start from 5 million. The host's voice rings out. Is everyone out of their minds? I can't help but interrupt, loudly. The green-haired man turns his head, obviously not expecting me to dare say this publicly on stage. Selling people? How low has everyone sunk? I question loudly again. The audience below starts stirring. Someone shouts dissatisfaction at the stage. The host glares at me with fury and curses. This crazy woman. Then he raises his hand high to strike me. I'm so scared I shut my eyes tightly, my body trembling uncontrollably. Stop! A familiar voice suddenly shouts to halt. I open my eyes in delight and see a tall and straight figure. Alphonse stands firmly in front of me, blocking the attack. He softly comforts me, saying I do well and to leave the rest to him. At this time, 4 or 5 burly men immediately charge at him aggressively. Alphonse calmly turns around and draws his sword to fight, and swings it like the wind, precisely repelling each attacker. In an instant, all those burly men lie on the ground. I watch in stunned amazement while the green-haired man observes leisurely. Alphonse shouts loudly that everyone involved in illegal human trafficking and kidnapping Prince Geishel of Acreon is under arrest. This man is a prince? I turn to look at the green-haired man. Someone below shouts, "What arrest? Who does he think he is to talk about arrest? Who do I think I am?" Alphonse sneers. Then he removes his mask and says he's His Majesty the Emperor's loyal hound, Marquis Midford. Of course the Emperor grants him the authority to arrest. People below exclaim, "Marquis Midford, the loyal hound, run quickly!" Everyone starts scattering. Gallo walks over at this moment. Now what do? They're surrounded. No one can escape. Behind him stand all soldiers. The audience finally starts to despair, with cries and sighs rising and falling. Alphonse glances toward me with a complex look. I quickly reach out, wanting my boyfriend to give me a hand, but he actually ignores my plea for help and walks straight toward the bound green-haired man. He walks to him and kneels down, respectfully greeting him in fluent Acreon language. Then he starts untying the prince, his movements skillful and careful. At this moment, the prince points at me and asks Alphonse if I'm his woman. He praises me for being very courageous, staying calm and composed in crisis. He says I'm a very good girl, worthy of Alphonse's favor. Alphonse smiles and thanks him for the praise, but still doesn't look at me. Soon after, soldiers start arresting the audience below. I stand aside getting angrier as I think. Alphonse actually ignores me directly. Alphonse walks over at this moment, saying I contribute greatly today and even rescue Prince Geishel of Acreon. I angrily turn my head away and ask, so coming here isn't a date but to carry out a mission? He actually says, didn't you also enjoy the ball's atmosphere? But that doesn't even last 5 minutes. He suddenly takes my hand. His eyes are very gentle as he says, next time I'll let you enjoy it longer. Then he kisses the back of my hand. My face instantly turns red, and my earlier anger already vanishes into thin air. But inside, I'm frantically shouting, I can't just be led around like this. Amy, wake up. At this moment, Gallo walks slowly toward us. He looks at me with a warm smile, his eyes full of kindness. Then he asks if I'm dating Alphonse. I stutter a bit, yes, currently I guess, and can't help but glare at Alphonse. Alphonse turns to ask Gallo if the escort is complete. Gallo says almost all the victims imprisoned are rescued, but there's still one problem. They discover something troublesome. Then he takes out a flower. I don't recognize this flower, but Alphonse's expression suddenly changes. Gallo adds that they also discover a very strange beast in a hidden space. A beast? I freeze. We follow Gallo to the beast. I'm so scared I ask, what is this? It looks so scary. Alphonse's eyes turn ice cold as he says it's those guys' creation. Gallo asks what to do, leaving it to his decision. Alphonse directly says to burn it. Gallo sighs. I knew you'd say that. However, I still don't know what's happening. So I stop him and ask him to explain who those guys are and what the meaning of that flower was just now. Alphonse says he will tell me in detail about the black iris when we get home. On the other side, a man with glasses stomps his foot angrily, saying he invests so much money in technology to create that chimera, and it gets burned. The person with binoculars next to him says they're about to leave. Seems like everything is handled. A woman turns to ask the boss what they should do. The black-haired man laughs. Let's just leave it at that. They panic. The auction gets ruined and they lose their main source of funding. Their boss says to leave it for now. Playing hide and seek is more fun when the person who's it has to chase anyway. The next night, I have a dream where father scolds me, asking why I do such useless things. You stray a girl! You should obediently accept a political marriage. How long are you going to be so willful and reckless? I'm in agony. At this moment, someone softly calls my name. I finally wake up. Alphonse asks if I'm okay. My body keeps trembling just now. I quickly apologize, saying I fall asleep. And where did we leave off? He smiles at me and says it's fine. But I still feel so embarrassed. How can I fall asleep while chatting? Seeing my tired expression, Alphonse suggests talking about the black iris another time. I quickly wave my hand, saying no need. It's definitely because I don't sleep well yesterday. I also emphasize I will listen carefully and ask him to continue talking about the organization. He smiles and says he understands. After all, I return late last night and get frightened. Not sleeping well is normal. I can't help but ask if Prince Geishel returns safely to Acreon. He nods, saying thanks to me, the person is safely sent back without causing a war between the two countries. I breathe a sigh of relief, saying that's good, and ask more about the black iris. So Alphonse continues explaining to me, saying, the organization is abnormal. There are people who resist the emperor and are dissatisfied with society, always doing things beyond reason. I ask, like that illegal auction yesterday? He confirms that's right. He also says they even do more unacceptable things, He mentions there's a Dr. Vi in this organization who gets expelled from the academic world. I realize this is the Dr. V he mentions before. He says the doctor specializes in research that violates ethics. After joining the Black Iris organization, he continues creating monsters. I ask if hunting them down is his job. He nods to confirm. I didn't expect the situation to be much more complicated than I imagine. I take a deep breath and call Alphonse's name. I confess that yesterday I realize I'm too powerless and worry that continuing like this will drag him down. I sincerely ask if he can personally teach me swordsmanship. He's obviously surprised. Just as he's about to respond, I eagerly interrupt him. I explain I normally practice fencing and have the basics, so he doesn't need to worry about me getting hurt. Then I seriously bow my head and make this request again. He gazes at my determined expression. His eyes gradually soften and he finally stops refusing my request. He agrees, saying to let Lillian teach me first. I ask in surprise, "My maid Lillian?" He replies yes, saying Lillian is an excellent sword master. I can learn the basics first, and after I'm proficient, he will teach me personally. I happily agree, saying I understand. At this moment, a voice suddenly comes from outside the door asking if we're done talking. I turn my head in confusion, wondering who it is and when they arrive. The person outside walks in, bows to me, and introduces himself as Prince Gallo, the second prince of the Gaius royal family. I'm startled, not expecting the person in front of me to actually be a prince. I quickly bow and say yesterday is too chaotic. I don't properly greet him. Please forgive my rudeness. Gallo replies he doesn't care about formalities and tells me to just treat him as Alphonse's friend. Then he turns to tease Alphonse, saying he asks me out but puts me in danger. Since things end peacefully, he wants to arrange a proper date for us. As he says this, he starts searching in his pocket. I'm wondering what kind of date it is, when he hands over an invitation to a banquet hosted by the crown prince. I happily accept and thank him, my heart starting to get excited again. Gallo tells Alphonse to look how happy I am and to learn how to please a girl. Alphonse smiles helplessly. He dutifully plays along, saying he will give me a gown as an apology gift. I'm even happier. The next day, Alphonse brings me to a clothing shop. He holds my hand as I step down from the carriage, asking me to choose whatever style I want. He tells me to pick my favorite. My heart is full of anticipation. Then we enter the clothing shop. There are so many clothes here. He comes to the very important person room, saying he will wait here for me and to take my time choosing, no rush. I nod and tell him to rest well, indicating that I might spend a long time choosing. He says it's fine. I agree and happily go to pick a gown. Coming to the women's section, I start seriously selecting a suitable gown. I see one that seems too revealing, not quite suitable for a formal occasion. Another one seems too childish, like it's designed for a little kid. Finally, my eyes light up as I discover a particularly satisfying gown. It's an elegant yellow dress, exquisite and beautiful, making my heart skip. I just reach out to take it when I notice someone simultaneously grabs this dress. I freeze for a moment, then discuss with the other person, saying I choose this one first and asking her to let go, but the other person refuses, saying she's the one who sees this gown first and tells me to let go. I look at the other person in confusion, then suddenly recognize her as the young lady who falls because of the cream at the banquet before. She shouts at me to let go. She sees it first and says she needs to wear this gown on an important occasion. I quickly retort that I also need to wear it to a banquet. She angrily asks if I'm really trying to compete with her now. The shop attendant quickly comes over to mediate, asking what happens. The orange-haired girl speaks first, saying I grab the gown she wants and won't let go. I quickly defend myself, saying I also say I want to buy it. Our argument is quite loud and soon reaches Alphonse. The shop assistant says helplessly that this dress is a limited edition of the season, so one of them has to give it up. The orange-haired girl yanks the dress away, declaring she will never give up. She wants it! I also grip the dress tightly, refusing to let go. We two confront each other, neither willing to yield. At this moment, Alphonse walks over, gently calling the orange-haired girl's name, breaking the deadlock. He points to a blue dress, saying it matches her orange hair perfectly. No one else would be more suitable for this dress than her. The orange-haired girl blushes upon hearing this, huffs, and says he has a point. However, I feel like I've been struck by lightning. Alphonse is actually helping another girl pick out dresses. Then he adds that he'll give her this dress as a gift, hoping she'll calm down. Facing such flattery from a handsome guy, the orange-haired girl completely forgets about me. At this moment, the shop assistant tells me the dress is mine, but I can't feel happy at all. In the carriage on the way back, Alphonse notices I'm not speaking and asks why I'm so quiet. I stubbornly say it's nothing, just that I have many things to think about. Actually, I'm still angry inside, deliberately turning my face away, not wanting to talk to him. Following Alphonse back to his house, I immediately say seriously that I want to start sword lessons. He freezes for a moment, asking why so suddenly. The equipment hasn't even been prepared yet. I stubbornly say I want to work up a sweat right now, though actually I want to vent my frustration. After all, my fencing skills are quite good. After everything is ready, I plan to go all out today and show them my true strength. However, reality is that during the match, my sword is knocked to the ground again and again. I can't believe the gap between Lillian's and my skill is this huge. Lillian quickly helps me up, asking if I'm hurt. I reach out, saying I've discovered I'm completely no match for her. Lillian says she should be the one who's surprised. She didn't expect a countess to have such good skills. Then she points out that my movements are too big and direct. Am I being affected by emotions? So I tell her about fighting over the dress today, and how Alphonse helped someone else. Lillian nods, saying Alphonse was indeed too much. I say grievously that him not helping me pick clothes makes me especially sad. Lillian says she understands, After all, Alphonse is in his first relationship. I ask in shock, Alphonse is actually in his first relationship? Does that mean I'm his first girlfriend? I instantly cheer up. So we're each other's first love. Lillian then starts strategizing for my love life. She leans close to my ear and whispers that this method can help me. After listening, it clicks. I say excitedly that this method is absolutely brilliant, thanking Lillian repeatedly. She says proudly that it's nothing, just a small matter. At the dining room, Alphonse says I seem to be in a good mood. I smile, saying it's because I'm looking forward to the Crown Prince's banquet in 2 days. He nods gently, saying calmly, I see. I cheer myself on internally, just wait till the banquet. You'll see my battle plan in action. Time quickly arrives at the evening of the banquet at the entrance of the palace. Alphonse steadily holds my hand, accompanying me down from the carriage. The moment my feet touch the ground, my heart pounds as I think to myself, this is it! Then I deliberately sway my body slightly, stumbling as if I haven't stood firmly and am about to fall. Alphonse reacts quickly, immediately reaching out from behind to catch me steadily, his palm against my waist. He leans down slightly, asking with concern if I'm all right. I look up at him and say softly that I'm fine, thinking gleefully, perfect! The operation has begun. He reminds me to be careful walking, then grips my hand tightly as we head into the palace together. Just walking into the banquet hall, I stare wide-eyed in amazement. This is the Imperial Palace Banquet Hall. I can't help exclaiming how beautiful it really is. Alphonse says the palace often holds banquets, and if I like it, I can come often. I happily agree, saying great, then it's settled. He nods gently, saying of course he'll keep his word and won't deceive me. At this time, Gallo suddenly calls Alphonse's name from behind. Alphonse turns back, saying it's Gallo. I tell him to go greet him and not worry about me. I can try the Imperial pastry chef's work while waiting for him on the side. I then raise my hand, smiling and waving, telling him to go busy himself first. However, the moment I turn to walk the other way, I see Alphonse walking toward a young lady in a light blue dress not far away. Moreover, Alphonse is exceptionally friendly to that young lady. I think anxiously, this won't do. I need to execute the battle plan quickly. Thinking this, I immediately quicken my pace, rushing to Alphonse's side. Before he can react, I naturally reach out and hook my arm around his. With a perfectly appropriate gentle smile on my face, I nod at the young lady opposite us. Actually, I've already turned over my displeasure several times inside. The orange-haired girl squints at me, her eyes full of wariness and doubt, asking, who are you? This really infuriates me enough. Can't she see that Alphonse and I are very close? Alphonse timely eases the atmosphere, politely introducing me to Miss Roxanne Artemisia opposite us. I scream internally, now is not the time for calm introductions. Gallo happens to witness this scene, quickly coming over to defuse the situation, saying he needs to discuss something with Alphonse and promises it won't take long. Asking everyone to forgive them, he then kisses Roxanne's hand. Alphonse turns to look at me, saying softly he'll be right back. I nod vigorously and wave, watching him leave with Gallo. Once they're far away, I immediately turn to Roxanne to make my position clear, saying Alphonse and I are lovers. Roxanne says, so what? Since we're not married, he could still change his mind. She also boasts that no one can surpass her beauty, telling me to give up early. I leave angrily after hearing this. No matter what, Alphonse is my boyfriend right now. On second thought, I feel sad. I don't think I've ever heard Alphonse express his feelings. I can't help wondering if he truly sees me as his girlfriend. In the study, Crown Prince Dalius has been waiting for Alphonse. Seeing him enter, he praises him for handling the previous matter well. His father, the Emperor, is also very pleased. Alphonse modestly replies that it's all part of his duty. Then Dalius also mentions hearing that he has a girlfriend. Alphonse pauses for a moment, saying she's just one of the necessary means to carry out the mission, nothing more. Dalius advises him not to treat this girlfriend that way, hoping she can become his safe haven. Then he takes out an envelope, saying this is a new order the Emperor asked him to pass along. Alphonse takes it, guessing it might be related to the Black Iris. Dalius says he's not sure, only that he should resolve it quickly, and conveys the Emperor's gratitude. Alphonse replies that it's his honor to serve the Emperor. Dalius emphasizes they must be dealt with quickly because their recent activities have been very unusual. Alphonse immediately accepts the order. In the corridor outside the study, Gallo scratches the back of his head, complaining that Dalius wants him to quickly catch an organization they've been chasing for years. How is that so simple? Alphonse rubs the edge of the envelope with his fingertips, saying His Highness must have other plans. Gallo curiously reaches out to open the letter, but he dodges aside, lightly scolding that now is not the time to discuss official business. Gallo raises his eyebrows, asking if he made plans with Miss Esmeralda. He also deliberately pats Alphonse's shoulder, his voice rising to congratulate him on finally having a girlfriend. Alphonse doesn't respond, instead raising an eyebrow to ask why he doesn't find himself a girlfriend. Gallo immediately straightens up, waving his hand proudly, saying he's everyone's sweetheart. He wants to be the man every girl in the Empire wants to have. Alphonse sighs helplessly, then bids him farewell. He turns and walks down the stairs to find Esmeralda. I see him from afar and immediately call his name, rushing over to hug him and complain that I've been waiting for him so long. Alphonse smells the alcohol on me and asks if I've been drinking. I hug him, giggling, saying I only drank a little bit, not much. Alphonse smiles, saying I seem to be enjoying this banquet. I quickly refute, Not at all. I'm only happy because I came with him. Then I say grievously that he was only talking to others just now. This makes me very sad. After saying this, I hug him tightly again. Then I look up, staring into his eyes, telling him to answer honestly. I ask softly if he truly sees me as his real girlfriend. Alphonse looks at me, his lips parting as he utters the single word I, but is abruptly cut off by the sudden appearance of Roxanne. She is delighted at his return as she deeply regretted his departure moments ago. Alphonse nods in response. I stand beside him, full of displeasure. Roxanne then reaches out to hook his arm, saying she wants to know him better. She also suggests going somewhere quiet to chat, obviously wanting to be alone with him. Seeing that Alphonse doesn't immediately refuse her, I immediately also reach out to hook his other arm. Before he can react, I forcefully pull him toward myself. My brain overheating, I lean in and kiss Alphonse on the face. Alphonse is completely stunned by this, frozen in place. I release him and loudly declare that Alphonse is my boyfriend. Roxanne says angrily and urgently that I'm really too much. Alphonse snaps back to reality and quickly holds me tight. He apologizes to Roxanne, saying his girlfriend, that's me, seems to be drunk, and they'll take their leave first. Over at the balcony, Gallo happens to witness this scene. Full of excitement, he mutters quietly, "Oh my god, that guy actually got kissed by Esmeralda," in the carriage on the way back. I lean against Alphonse and fall asleep. Alphonse looks at me, recalling what I just asked, about whether he truly sees me as his girlfriend. He murmurs softly, if I knew what he was thinking, would I still be willing to stay by his side and not leave? The next morning, I slowly wake up in my familiar room. Still feeling the grogginess of a hangover. I rub my throbbing temples, wondering that I got drunk in front of Alphonse yesterday. A fragment suddenly flashes in my mind. I even kissed him. I'm so startled my heart jumps, my cheeks instantly burning up. I quickly wrap myself tightly in the blanket, burying my head and lamenting, why on earth did I do such a thing? Just as I'm agonizing enough to want to find a hole to crawl into, a gentle knock comes from outside the door. It's Lillian, saying she's prepared morning tea for me. She also says Alphonse has a message for her to pass along. I ask doubtfully what it is, feeling a bit nervous inside. She says Alphonse hopes to have tea with me and asks if I'm willing. My heart skips. He's not going to talk about my drunken episode yesterday, is he? But on second thought, I can't avoid it. I steel myself and tell Lillian I'll go. Lillian says okay and prepares to leave to relay the message. Then I come to the garden to have tea and a heart-to-heart with Alphonse. Alphonse speaks first, saying so I can't really hold my liquor. He'll remember that. Hearing him say this, I think of what happened last night again. My cheeks heating up, feeling so embarrassed. Alphonse also says that although it can't compare to yesterday's banquet, he specially prepared afternoon tea to spend today with me. Looking at the pastries on the table, I say sincerely thank you. I'm very happy. After chatting for just a few sentences, Alphonse suddenly asks if I still want to confirm his feelings. I blush when asked, quickly saying please forget about it, don't mention it again. Alphonse presses on, asking why I should forget. I say embarrassedly that he's been so good to me, yet I doubted him. I'm really sorry. Alphonse is clearly somewhat surprised hearing this. He says softly that I'm truly kind, with such a soft heart. I quickly say not at all, thinking to myself I can't let him know about Lillian's and my strategy. Alphonse doesn't press further, starting to ask if I want more cake. I nod, saying yes, and this topic passes. In another dark corner, an old man lies on the ground trembling. He stammers, begging, asking why they're doing this to him. The woman beside him sneers, saying wasn't it he himself who suggested going out together after just a few drinks? Then the old man grabs the woman's skirt hem, continuously saying, spare me please, I beg you. But the next second, the old man is killed by an unknown creature. The woman makes a disgusted sound, saying how filthy. Then she pats the part of her skirt hem he just touched. She turns to the person beside her, ordering them to quickly send that thing to Dr. V's laboratory. The woman also complains that she has to come personally for this kind of thing. Is there no one left in the organization? She sighs irritably, saying it seems she needs to tell the boss. Looking up, the person standing on the rooftop is none other than the Black Iris leader. The leader speaks, asking what kind of bait should be cast now to make that loyal hound come following the scent. Not long after, in another corner, the Black Iris leader bows with a smile. Well, look who it is, His Highness the First Prince. Prince Diablo says impatiently to skip the pleasantries. How much longer must he wait? The leader explains, asking him to wait a bit more. This matter isn't easy, as he should know. The prince says he initially gave him funding to buy off people dissatisfied with the current emperor and crown prince. What's happening now? The leader explains it's because the loyal hound's nose is sharp. The prince urges him to speed up, after all the queen is already displeased. At the mention of the queen, the leader standing nearby quickly speaks up, asking if the beautiful Queen Regina is doing well in the palace these days. The prince immediately frowns, sternly rebuking that the queen's name is absolutely not for him to mention casually. He orders that the public's panic must increase to a degree that can shake the current regime. The leader dares not contradict in the slightest, repeatedly saying yes. To help the first prince successfully ascend the throne, the Black Iris will do everything in their power. In the blink of an eye, several days pass. At the time when sunset paints half the sky red, I see Alphonse push open the door and come home. I immediately go to meet him, asking why he's only back now. I also ask if he's heard the increasingly fierce rumors spreading in the city lately about werewolves. I've heard the culprit has been indiscriminately attacking multiple people, and their bodies look like they've been bitten. People are filled with fear, whispering speculations that werewolves are behind all of this. Alphonse Alphonse says he just returned from the palace because of this matter. Although they haven't announced who the culprit is, this is clearly the Black Iris's doing. They even left Black Iris marks at the crime scenes. Alphonse says today, we're going to catch that so-called werewolf. I ask in surprise, today? And we're going together? Alphonse looks at me again with that gentle gaze. I immediately understand what he means. He once again says softly that he needs my help. I agree helplessly, so I wait until the sky completely darkens, with street lamps only giving off a faint glow. I walk alone on the cold gleaming stone pavement, walking through a narrow alley, feeling both angry and scared inside. I mutter, so scary. I shouldn't have come if I'd known. I suddenly remember what Alphonse said before. He said he'd follow closely behind, telling me not to worry. I can't help complaining, so he still wants me to help him as bait to lure the werewolf. I comfort myself that nothing will happen. After all, Alphonse is following behind. I'm definitely not in danger. I stop and look left and right, finding that there's really not a single person in the alley. It's so quiet I can hear my own breathing. Behind me suddenly comes a crunch sound of teeth grinding. It sounds like a werewolf's voice. My heart leaps to my throat. Could the werewolf really be here? My body freezes as if nailed in place, stiffly and woodenly turning my head. I see the werewolf hunched behind me, its white fur standing on end all over, eyes gleaming coldly. It's truly huge and terrifying. I'm so scared my throat tightens, and my legs start going weak as if filled with lead. The werewolf's eyes flash with a fierce light, then it suddenly extends its sharp claws toward me. I use all my strength to shout Alphonse's name toward the back. Hearing my voice, Alphonse immediately rushes from the shadows at the alley entrance. He raises his arm, steadily swinging his longsword. A cold flash passes, and he cuts off the werewolf's front paw in one strike. He quickly sheathes his sword and turns back, nervously asking if I'm all right. I shake my head, saying I'm fine. After confirming I'm safe, Alphonse immediately turns to the werewolf, frowning and asking if it can speak human language. But the werewolf only stares at us, letting out a low growl without answering. It looks even more fierce instead. Seeing that communication is useless, Alphonse raises his sword again, preparing to continue attacking. However, the werewolf suddenly shrinks back and leaps up. Then, at extreme speed, it jumps toward the depths of the dark alley. Alphonse shouts at me, "Stay here and don't move," then quickly chases after it. But the werewolf's speed is really too fast. Alphonse still doesn't catch up. He frowns, saying it's too bad he let it escape. I ask softly if that was the legendary werewolf. Alphonse says it's a monster made by Dr. V. Besides him, there shouldn't be anyone who could create such a thing. I'm so scared my legs go weak and I can't stand steady. Alphonse quickly supports me, asking if I'm frightened. I reply that I'm fine. Let's hurry home. Back home, Alphonse asks if I've calmed down now. I hold my cup and ask, this was done by the Black Iris, right? I really can't understand. Creating such monsters, what can they possibly gain? Alphonse replies that it's because they're dissatisfied with the current imperial power, although he's not certain of the reason. What's certain is they want to break the peace and create panic. I'm very shocked after hearing this, eyes wide in disbelief. I really can't understand their purpose and methods. I continue complaining. The werewolf I just saw must also be from inhumane experiments, right? Alphonse answers that it's precisely Dr. V's experimental subject. I don't understand. To create panic, they actually take away so many innocent lives. This practice is absolutely unforgivable. It's too much. Alphonse says they're now making every effort to hunt them down and really need my help. I nod, saying I understand. We can't let everyone live in fear. Alphonse smiles in agreement, saying it's late tonight, so let's rest first, and tomorrow night we'll go out together again to find traces of that werewolf. I nod vigorously, saying okay, silently resolving in my heart to be of help. On the other side, in the sewers, the werewolf is dragging its severed hand, walking with difficulty. Its condition looks very bad right now. At this moment, Dr. V is alone in his study drawing experimental sketches. He's frowning deeply. The sketch keeps being revised, but he just can't draw it right. Just then, the one-armed werewolf suddenly emerges in front of the doctor. Gasping in shock, he cries out, "What in the world is happening?" He quickly walks up to the werewolf, sighing helplessly, "Poor thing." Then he immediately takes the werewolf to the underground laboratory to restore its mobility. Meanwhile, at Alphonse's house, I sit wearily on the living room sofa, unable to help letting out a long yawn. Alphonse turns to look at me, saying softly that I look completely exhausted. I quickly wave my hand, saying no, I'm really fine, just a bit sleepy. Alphonse says this week I've been wandering the streets every night. It's natural to be tired. I reply that compared to being tired, it's already great that nothing unexpected happened this week. Then I can't help asking Alphonse if the monster will just disappear. Alphonse says the Black Iris won't give up this easily. He also suggests that if I'm tired, I should stay home and rest today. It's all right, I say with unwavering certainty, my voice steady and resolute. Even if there's risk, I'm going out with him today. Alphonse smiles hearing this, saying he understands. He's counting on me again today. Night is quietly descending over this area. I'm walking alone again on the silent, empty street. Suddenly, a cold, sinister wind violently strikes from behind me. "Amy!" Alphonse urgently shouts at me. He immediately rushes over to save me, pulling me tightly into his arms and steadily dodging the werewolf's deadly surprise attack. He asks with a face full of tension if I'm all right. I pause, saying softly that I'm fine. We finally waited for the target werewolf to appear again, but how did its appearance suddenly become different? Alphonse says it looks like Dr. V gave it a new arm. This new arm is actually a heavy iron hammer hammer. Alphonse quickly pushes me behind him, saying it's too dangerous here, telling me to hide quickly. He swiftly raises the longsword in his hand, taking on a battle-ready stance. The werewolf opposite also immediately takes on a fierce attacking posture. Alphonse decisively launches the first attack. The werewolf reacts extremely fast, using its iron hammer to fiercely block. The enormous force even pushes Alphonse back several steps. That heavy iron hammer is indeed very powerful. It makes the ground rumble with a single strike. Alphonse quickly steadies himself, saying in a low voice that this indeed isn't easy. However, the werewolf doesn't continue attacking. It turns and leaps away into the distance to escape. "Amy, this way!" Alphonse grips me tightly as we hurry to chase. While running, he says urgently that this won't work. They need to think of a solution quickly. A brilliant idea suddenly flashes in my mind. I shout loudly at Alphonse, "Alphonse, I have a good idea!" Then I quickly come to the dock's edge, seeing the small wooden boat stopped in front of me. I hurriedly step onto that moored small boat. The fierce werewolf indeed quickly catches up. It suddenly leaps onto this small boat from behind me, but it's too heavy. The small boat immediately starts rocking violently. I immediately shout at Alphonse, "Now!" Before the werewolf can steady itself, I take a deep breath and lunge at it, wrapping my arms tightly around the werewolf's body so it can't move. The werewolf growls, shaking its body, trying to throw me off. I squeeze my eyes shut, using all my strength, waiting for Alphonse to act. Alphonse immediately receives my urgent signal. He swings his sword fiercely, striking the werewolf's vital spot. The attack precise and powerful. I can't keep my footing and accidentally fall into the icy lake together with the werewolf. The icy lake water splashes up hugely. I think frantically in the water, does this count as success or not? Then I see the decapitated werewolf sinking heavily to the lake bottom. Only then do I confirm we've succeeded. I frantically paddle to surface, my chest still heaving from tension. Alphonse walks over carrying the werewolf's head, telling me I worked hard. Thanks to me. I reach out, shouting with a smile, "Great, can you pull me up?" He quickly extends his hand to pull me up, saying of course, bringing me ashore right away. After getting ashore, he says seriously that today was all my achievement. I'm truly amazing. I quickly refute, saying the one who's truly amazing is obviously him. Every time I encounter danger, he can always appear in time to rescue me from trouble. I look at him, saying shyly, "Also, thank you for saving me again just now." A cold wind blows past. I can't help but sneeze, my nose instantly turning sour. Alphonse immediately drapes his cloak over me, his movements gentle and soft. Wrapped in the cloak, carrying his body warmth, my heart warms up. I'm especially touched. He looks at me tenderly, saying, "Shall we go home? Don't catch a cold?" I nod vigorously, "Yes, I really want to warm up by the fire right now." Back home, lying in bed, I sneeze again. Oh no, I accidentally caught a cold. My head feels dizzy and awful. At this moment, a series of urgent and clear knocking sounds suddenly comes from outside the door. It's Alphonse standing outside the door waiting. I quickly tell him to come in. Alphonse gently pushes open the door and walks in. The soft light in the room illuminates his face, making him extraordinarily handsome and charming. He slowly walks toward my bedside, reaching out to gently press his hand against my forehead to carefully check my temperature. He frowns. "Your face is still very red. Has the fever not gone down?" I quickly wave my hand to explain, No, I'm much better now. It's just a little cold." I change the subject. "By the way, has the werewolf matter been handled properly?" He sits down and replies that he just came back from the palace dealing with this matter. After showing His Majesty the Emperor the severed head of that monster, he handed it over to the police for safekeeping as important evidence to be archived. As for the public explanation, they plan to say the culprit was imitating a wolf's methods. It's not a real werewolf. I breathe a sigh of relief. It's really great that things can be resolved satisfactorily. He looks at me and praises that I'm truly amazing. I could think of such an idea in an emergency. Pausing, he adds, "Although the method was a bit risky, it startled me at the time." I laugh embarrassedly. I just wanted to help you a bit more." He looks at me tenderly, saying he hopes I'll put my own safety first. This is what he's saying from his heart as my boyfriend. Hearing him say boyfriend, my heartbeat speeds up, and my face gets even redder. Then he stands up, saying he needs to continue handling the materials brought back from the palace. I quickly call out to stop him. "Wait a moment," I ask quietly. "Can we have dinner together tonight?" Feeling a bit nervous. He pauses, then nods gently. "Of course, no problem." After Alphonse gently closes the door and leaves, the room instantly becomes quiet. I quickly wrap myself up tightly in the blanket, unable to suppress my extreme excitement inside. I cup my burning cheeks with both hands, grinning foolishly. So he just spoke to me as my boyfriend. On the other side, Alphonse walks slowly down the corridor, thinking, although he initially thought about using Amy, his mindset is different now. In the future, he can't let her fall into danger again. At the dining table, I look at him and ask if he still needs to go to the palace today. He puts down his utensils and shakes his head, saying no. He has no particular schedule to handle today. My eyes light up. Then how about we go together to the new dessert cafe that opened in the city? My eyes sparkle with excitement as I say, I've heard that cafe's freshly baked vanilla cream creme brulee is super delicious, and the almond chocolate cookies covered in crushed nuts. Many people recommend them. Half a month has passed since the werewolf incident, and he's been working non-stop all this time. So let's specially make time today to go on a date together, okay? Alphonse looks at me tenderly, smiling and nodding gently, saying sure, he'll follow my arrangements. I'm so happy I almost jump on the spot. Yay! Wonderful. We can finally have a proper date. The butler stands not far away to the side, watching the two's warm scene, tactfully and quietly withdrawing. The carriage carrying us slowly travels down the bustling street. Seeing the familiar dessert shop sign, my eyes instantly light up, full of happiness. Alphonse asks if it's here. I quickly nod, urging him to hurry inside. Alphonse pushes open the glass shop door. A sweet aroma wafts over. The display shelves inside are full of exquisite desserts, and there's steaming milk. Tea. I can't help covering my mouth in amazement. Wow, this place is practically dessert heaven. I point to the bright window seat, asking Alphonse if we should sit there. He smiles and nods gently, saying sure. Just as we sit down, a server comes over asking if we'd like to order now. Alphonse directly says he wants vanilla cream creme brulee and almond chocolate cookies. I look at him in surprise, thinking he actually remembered what I wanted to eat. So thoughtful. He continues smiling, asking what I'd like to drink. I quickly say I want a cherry sparkling drink. He tells the menu he wants a black coffee himself, plus all the cakes the pastry chef recommends. The server responds with a yes. Listening, my heart feels warm. I'm completely touched. Alphonse looks at me, saying since Amy came here, she should enjoy herself and not hold back. I nod vigorously, my heart full of gratitude, thinking today is truly so blissful. Before long, the server brings over a pile of desserts. I pick up a small fork, staring at the creme brulee, unable to wait to start eating. Taking a bite of the cream, sweetness melts in my mouth. I can't help sighing, so blissful. Alphonse looks at me, asking if it's good. I nod vigorously, saying it's so delicious. I scoop up a spoonful and bring it to his mouth, wanting to feed him. He seems a bit hesitant. I hold the dessert and gently urge him, moving it toward him. Come on. He stares at the dessert, his fingertips pausing slightly, hesitating for a moment, but still leans down slightly to open his mouth and take it in. After he slowly finishes eating, I look at him full of anticipation, asking if it tastes super good. He gently wipes the cream from his lips with his fingertip. Smiling, he says it's really sweet, looking incredibly handsome. I'm instantly captivated, my heart racing so fast I can barely hold my spoon steady. After eating so many desserts, I pat my round belly and say it's all thanks to him. Then I look up and ask if we should head home now. He smiles at me and asks, wouldn't it be a shame to go back now? I blink in surprise and ask, then what should we do? He smiles and says, since we're on a date, we should enjoy it to the fullest. I'm overjoyed, my eyes lighting up instantly. I quickly nod repeatedly, saying that's wonderful. He suggests spending more time exploring downtown, and I immediately agree. I'm more than willing. Before long, we arrive at the plaza together. We see people dancing elegantly there, paired with gentle music. It's incredibly romantic. We stand nearby watching, absolutely delighted. When we pass by a flower shop, he asks me to wait and goes inside himself. Soon after, he comes out holding a bouquet of pink roses and hands them to me, saying they suit me perfectly. Before we know it, we've been out until sunset. Sitting in the carriage, I hold the flowers and softly say today has been truly wonderful. Alphonse looks at me and says gently, that's good. We can go on dates like this more often in the future. My eyes widen in surprise as I ask, really? He's not fooling me, is he? He nods seriously, his gaze tender, saying it's true. He'll often take me out from now on. Holding the flowers, my heart feels so sweet. I can't help saying I really love today. Back home, the butler greets us at the door with a smile, asking if we had a good time today. I hold up the flowers and say, look, Alphonse gave me these. The butler smiles and says the flowers suit me wonderfully. Then the butler tells Alphonse that a guest is waiting for him. We discover it's Gallo. He walks down the stairs with a smile, saying he heard we went on a date. As a friend, he's willing to wait however long, not in a hurry at all. I quickly curtsy and greet him, apologizing for making him wait so long. Gallo laughs and tells me not to be so formal. He and Alphonse are friends. I say embarrassedly that I'm trying not to be formal. I'm just a bit nervous. Alphonse looks at Gallo and asks if there's something specific that brings him here so suddenly. Gallo searches his pockets and says it's nothing major. There's a birthday banquet for the first prince in a week. He takes out an invitation and hands it over, saying Prince Dalius asked him to deliver it. Alphonse accepts the invitation. He glances at it and says, so it's a birthday banquet. Gallo adds that I should come too. I quickly nod, saying it's my honor. I'll definitely attend. Gallo then says he'll take his leave now and won't disturb us any longer. Before leaving, he turns back to Alphonse and says I'm adorable. He should make his move. After Gallo leaves, Alphonse and I exchange glances and can't help but laugh. I say excitedly that I'm looking forward to attending the prince's birthday banquet. Alphonse looks at the invitation. Then he tells me this isn't simply an invitation. I look at Alphonse in confusion and ask, huh? What does that mean? We step out onto the balcony. He asks if I know that Crown Prince Dalius and Prince Diablo have different mothers. I answer yes, I know. Dalius was born to the late former empress, and Diablo is the eldest son of the current empress Queen Regina. Alphonse continues, saying there was actually an incident when the royal family appointed the crown prince. I quickly ask what happened, extremely curious. He says the emperor wanted his eldest son Dalius to inherit the crown prince position, but the current empress naturally hoped her son Diablo would become crown prince. So at that time, a considerable political struggle quietly unfolded within the palace, and in the end, it was still Prince Dalius who was appointed crown prince. He adds that those who support Prince Diablo are still dissatisfied about this matter. I suddenly understand, saying, saying, in that case, the people attending the birthday banquet, wouldn't they be seen as supporters of Prince Diablo? Alphonse nods, saying anyone who knows the inside story would probably think that. So inviting us to the birthday banquet to gauge Prince Diablo's power base is the Crown Prince's real intention in sending this invitation. I say with realization, I see, but since it's a birthday banquet, nothing else should happen, right? He reassures me, saying no other incidents will occur. Don't worry. Something suddenly occurs to me, and I say excitedly that a royal banquet is so formal. I need to carefully choose my dress. Alphonse looks at me and can't help but laugh. I feel a bit embarrassed and ask what's wrong. This is my first time attending a royal birthday banquet. He says he understands. Then, he'll help me choose tomorrow. I exclaim in surprise. That's wonderful. This way, won't I get to go on another date with him? After explaining everything, we sit on the balcony leisurely drinking tea, the atmosphere particularly relaxed. Soon the day of the banquet arrives. Entering the banquet hall, I can't help but exclaim that the royal birthday banquet is truly different, so magnificent. At this moment, Gallo walks toward us and calls out to us. I quickly curtsy, saying greetings to Prince Gallo. Gallo smiles and raises his hand to return my greeting. Then Alphonse asks why Crown Prince Dalius didn't come. Gallo says unfortunately, his brother is busy preparing to receive a foreign delegation and can't attend. Actually, this is just an excuse for not wanting to come. Then he adds that his brother has completely entrusted him to handle the banquet. Alphonse nods, saying, I see, that must be hard work for him. Then I ask excitedly, so what do we do now? Can we go dancing? Just as I finish speaking, someone calls out to Alphonse. All three of us turn around curiously. It's actually Roxanne. She smiles and says it's been so long. My heart sinks as I think, that lady again, what's she doing here? Alphonse responds politely, while I immediately think annoyed. Now's not the time for leisurely greetings. Roxanne flutters her eyelashes at Alphonse, saying it really has been so long. Then she extends her hand and asks if he has anything to say to her. I think to myself, this lady is way too forward. So infuriating. Gallo notices my angry expression and quietly chuckles to himself. Then Gallo steps forward and takes Roxanne's hand, saying, hello, beautiful lady. He introduces himself as Second Prince Gallo, gently kissing Roxanne's hand as he speaks. Roxanne says in surprise, oh my, greetings, your highness. My name is Roxanne Artemisia. Gallo says dramatically that Roxanne is as beautiful as her name. Then he asks Miss Roxanne if he has the honor of dancing with her. As he finishes, Gallo secretly winks at me. I'm so grateful to him in my heart. Roxanne says, honored and flattered, that if the prince says so, it's her privilege. Before leaving, she continues fluttering her eyes at Alphonse, saying, see you later. Alphonse just smiles and nods, saying all right. I watch Gallo and Roxanne's retreating figures. I say gratefully that he really helped us out. Thank you so much. Then I turn to Alphonse and say, so let's also dance? But he declines, saying we should patrol the venue instead. There might be suspicious people. We can't let our guard down. I feel a bit disappointed, but still follow him. We walk together into the center of the ballroom. We start observing our surroundings. Gallo is currently dancing with Roxanne, music flowing gently through the dance floor. Guests around us chat in small groups, the atmosphere seemingly relaxed. I follow Alphonse, weaving through the crowd. I quietly tell Alphonse I don't see anyone particularly suspicious. He turns his head and asks if I really think so, his eyes still scanning the surroundings. I nod and say yes. We've already patrolled 3 times and haven't found anything unusual. Then I suggest we get some champagne and rest. All this walking is tiring. But Alphonse says he is afraid we can't rest. I look up in confusion and ask why. Did he find something new? He says he spotted something unusual in the crowd. He tells me to look over there. I observe the guests in the direction he's pointing. After looking for a while, I can't see any problem. I say helplessly that I still don't see it. What's unusual? Alphonse says the key is in the champagne. I pause and ask, what about the champagne? He explains that the 2 people on the right are holding champagne prepared by the venue, but the champagne held by the 3 people on the left can't be found anywhere in the venue, and only people holding the same champagne talk to each other. I ask curiously how he discovered this. I didn't notice at all. He says if you look carefully, you'll see there's a subtle difference in the champagne's color. I quickly ask if he heard what those people were saying. Can we get any clues? He shakes his head, saying the distance is too far to hear the specific content. I suggest that we could also get the same champagne and join them, right? But Alphonse says that probably won't work. I ask why. He says those people seem to know what the guests look like beforehand. They only give champagne to specific people. He speculates these people are all Prince Diablo's people and suggests we stop here for today. He also says we should leave to avoid being discovered as suspicious. But I call out to him, Alphonse, wait a moment. He thinks I want champagne and reminds me not to drink too much. I quickly shake my head, saying that's not it. Let me try infiltrating them. After speaking, I take a deep breath and walk into the dance floor. I target a guest holding the same champagne and pretend to lose my balance, bumping into him. Champagne spills on his clothes. He pauses and starts searching for a handkerchief. I quickly apologize. I'm so sorry. I suddenly lost my balance. But he laughs and says it's fine, just get another glass. Then he calls for a server. I seize the opportunity to ask if I could also get a glass like his, my voice slightly nervous. Then I add that it's to celebrate Prince Diablo's birthday and to pray for the prince's prosperity. The stranger stares at me for a few seconds, his gaze probing. I clench my hands, not daring to move, my heart pounding hard. Unexpectedly, he suddenly breaks into a wide smile, his tone relaxed as he says, I see. He swirls the glass in his hand, saying he and they were thinking the same thing. Then he raises his hand to call a server in the distance, asking for a glass of the same champagne. The server immediately responds affirmatively. I quickly lower my eyes, suppressing the corners of my mouth, silently celebrating in my heart. The plan worked. I really didn't expect it would be so easy to infiltrate their circle. The guest raises his glass, saying, "Well then, to Prince Diablo's birthday and to our destiny." I raise my glass and toast together, my eyes secretly observing the surroundings. At this moment, the guest suddenly says he wants to introduce me to his son. I smile and respond evasively. In my mind, I think as expected, these are all Prince Diablo's people. Time to prepare my exit. I put down my glass and say I'll take my leave now, until we meet again. The guest nods and says all right. After speaking, I turn and quickly walk toward Alphonse, wanting to tell him the situation. He comes up to me and asks if there was anything special. Did I confirm it? I nod, saying just as he said, they should be Prince Diablo's people, and also, before I finish, someone suddenly walks over and interrupts, saying, "Oh my, who do we have here?" Alphonse and I turn our heads simultaneously. After seeing who it is, I'm too shocked to speak. In my mind, I scream, "Ugh, that person is Prince Diablo himself." I hear him begin greeting Alphonse. Alphonse immediately bows respectfully, addressing Prince Diablo with proper decorum. Prince Diablo's gaze turns to me with scrutiny, inquiring about my identity. My heart panics under his stare. I quickly curtsy as well, my voice trembling as I greet the prince. I hastily add that my name is Esmeralda Vines, terrified of saying even one word wrong. Prince Diablo stares at the glass in my hand. He furrows his brow, questioning where that champagne came from. I instantly realize, breaking into a cold sweat. I quickly tilt my head back and drain the champagne in my glass. I explain hurriedly that I just got this champagne from a gentleman, trying to cover my guilt. Prince Diablo continues questioning, his tone carrying pressure. He wants to know specifically who I got it from. My mind goes blank, too guilty to speak, my heart screaming that his gaze is terrifying. I can only cover with awkward laughter, saying at one moment I don't remember, then rambling that I might be drunk. Prince Diablo watches my flustered state, completely speechless, and doesn't continue questioning. Alphonse quickly steps forward to smooth things over, congratulating Prince Diablo on his birthday. Prince Diablo snorts lightly, his tone dismissive as he speculates it must have been Gallo who called us here. After speaking, he ignores us and walks past us, leaving directly. Only then do I breathe a sigh of relief, patting my chest. I say in retrospect that was terrifying. Alphonse reassures me, saying I did very well. I didn't give anything away. Then I say with certainty that the champagne definitely has a problem. Otherwise, Prince Diablo's expression wouldn't have changed. Alphonse nods in agreement, saying he also noticed that champagne was unusual. I worry aloud, hoping this incident won't trigger any bad situations. On the other side, Prince Diablo walks up to a guard and lowers his voice to give orders. There's a task to assign. He tells the guard to immediately investigate the detailed background of the woman beside Marquise Midford. The guard immediately bows and accepts the command. After giving instructions, Prince Diablo quickly leaves, his brow furrowed, his face full of worry and fear that something really will be exposed. The next day in the sitting room, Gallo asks with a smile if Alphonse had fun yesterday. Alphonse answers thanks to him. It was only because he kept Roxanne occupied that they could observe smoothly. Gallo teases that Miss Roxanne seems completely smitten with Alphonse. He says he showed her every courtesy, but she remained completely unmoved. Then he waves his hand, indicating this matter isn't important, and pivots back to the main topic. He becomes serious and inquires about yesterday's observations. Did they find any useful clues? Alphonse explains they found some clues but encountered a small problem along the way. Gallo quickly asks what problem, worried something unexpected happened. Alphonse mentions Prince Diablo noticed Amy and became suspicious of her. He even did something to Amy. Meanwhile, in the garden, I sit at the table drinking tea, but have no mind to savor it. Putting down my teacup, I can't help but sigh. Lillian approaches softly, asking if the tea doesn't suit my taste. Is that why I seem unhappy? I quickly deny it, explaining it's not because of the tea. I'm thinking about other things. I ask Lillian to confirm if Alphonse is reporting yesterday's events to Prince Gallo. Lillian nods in response. Hearing this, I lower my head, my voice tinged with dejection. I wonder why he didn't let me participate in the discussion. Lillian looks at me and explains that Alphonse is trying to keep me out of danger. That's why he has me stay behind. I can't help but retort that I want to help too. I don't want to just hide behind and watch. After speaking, I slump my shoulders, my tone filled with loss, saying I still feel sad. Lillian sighs softly, saying there's something that might help me understand Alphonse's thoughts. Lillian mentions I haven't heard Alphonse talk about his parents and the previous Marquis, have I? I pause, saying Alphonse has never mentioned these things to me. Lillian explains that the previous Marquis, just like the current master, bore the duty of being the Emperor's loyal hound. Then Lillian pauses, her tone becoming heavy. She says they also made many enemies because of this. One day while executing a mission, they were killed by enemies of unknown origin. I'm shocked, my eyes widening, unable to believe this fact. I murmur in disbelief, how could such a thing happen? Lillian says Alphonse was only 13 when he lost his parents and became the head of the household, and within less than 2 years of inheriting the title, he avenged his parents. Hearing all this, my heart feels painfully tight, an indescribable sadness. Lillian continues, saying that although Alphonse is as capable as the previous Marquis, he knows the dangers well. Therefore, he's working hard to keep me out of danger. I should try to trust him. I suddenly understand, so that's how it is. At dusk, Alphonse and I see Gallo off together. After Gallo leaves, Alphonse looks at me, saying they talked for too long. Was I bored waiting? I quickly shake my head to show that I don't. It's fine with me. The butler approaches and says dinner time has arrived. He invites us to move to the dining room. Alphonse extends his hand to me, asking if we should go together. I nod in agreement, taking his hand. At the dining table, Alphonse notices I'm unusually quiet and stops to ask why I'm so quiet. I'm startled when I hear this. Alphonse asks again if something happened. I hesitate before speaking, saying there's something I want to ask him. Alphonse indicates I should go ahead, so I ask what kind of people his parents were. Hearing this question, Alphonse shows obvious surprise in his eyes. I quickly add that it's because until now I haven't heard him mention his parents. Alphonse understands, saying it seems Lillian told me something. I explain hurriedly that Lillian only told me for his sake. He shouldn't scold Lillian. Alphonse smiles, saying he can probably guess under what circumstances Lillian told me, and he understands my feelings then. He also says that not telling me these things sooner was his fault. I softly call out, Alphonse? Alphonse slowly begins, saying of his parents. His father, though strict, was kind and approachable. His mother was a gentle and good-hearted person. His tone shifts as he recalls when he was 13. Someone murdered his parents who served as the emperor's loyal hounds, disguising it as an accidental death. He speculates that perhaps his parents were mentally prepared for such a situation. Finally, he says seriously that he doesn't want me to bear such a burden. Hearing these words, my tears fall uncontrollably. I say through sobs that I will become stronger. No matter what dangers I face by his side, I won't waver, because I will definitely grow strong. Alphonse feels moved hearing this. Then he lowers his head and thanks me with a smile, to be able to handle future situations. From then on, I begin practicing swordsmanship with Lillian. During practice, I take the initiative to attack, each sword swing filled with determination. Lillian sidesteps and swings her sword to block my incoming strike. During the sparring, I'm clearly at a disadvantage. My sword moves constantly suppressed. I can only keep raising my sword to parry, barely blocking her attacks. Lillian's offensive doesn't stop, her sword tip always pressed against my blade. I grit my teeth, my eyes focused intently on her movements. Finally seeing an opening as she withdraws, I thrust my sword forward forcefully, the tip precisely striking her sword. Then I knock her sword to the ground. Lillian looks at her empty right hand, her face full of surprise. I raise my sword and cheer. I won! After 2 months of challenging Lillian, I finally scored a point. Lillian says with a smile that I'm really impressive now. I suddenly hesitate, asking if she lost on purpose. Lillian shakes her head in denial, saying I won completely through my own strength. My heart fills with joy. I just want to tell Alphonse this news immediately. Lillian also praises my rapid progress, saying Alphonse will definitely be happy when he finds out. I immediately nod, my tone excited, saying I think he'll be super happy too. I ask Lillian if Alphonse went to the imperial capital very early today. Lillian nods affirmatively. I then ask when he'll be back. I want to tell him this good news quickly. Lillian suggests I continue training while waiting for the master to return. I immediately agree, yes. Time will pass faster this way. In Crown Prince Dalius's study, Dalius is chatting and laughing with Alphonse, saying it's been a while since they talked like this. He feels very happy. Alphonse responds that it's his honor to chat with the Crown Prince. Then he brings up His Majesty the Emperor, asking how things have been recently. Dalius says His Majesty the Emperor is, as always, still working tirelessly. Alphonse sighs upon hearing this, saying he's very worried about His Majesty. He shouldn't push himself so hard. Dalius says His Majesty knows his concern. He just cares more about the people. Alphonse says that as the Emperor's loyal hound, he will do his utmost to share His Majesty's burdens. Dalius smiles and says good. Then he asks how Alphonse has been lately. He also asks if he's still with that young lady from last time. She couldn't have been a young woman who hasn't even had her debut ball, could she? Hearing this, Alphonse chokes on the tea he just drank. He hurriedly explains it's not what he thinks. Her parents apparently wanted to use her as a political marriage pawn and kept her hidden away. Dalius frowns and says there's such a thing. He tells Alphonse to take her out more to see and understand the world. After all, that young lady looks very endearing. She should be given more warmth. Alphonse nods in agreement, taking Crown Prince Dalius's words to heart. In the carriage on the way back, Alphonse gazes at the scenery outside the window. Amy's image surfaces in his mind. He murmurs softly, compared to romance, what he's shown her seems to be only the dark side of society. Soon after, Alphonse returns home. I immediately appear and run to greet him. I ask excitedly if he knows something super amazing happened today. Alphonse asks back in confusion what happy thing occurred. I announce loudly, I finally scored a point against Lillian, my tone full of pride. Hearing this, Alphonse's face shows obvious surprise. I seize the moment and ask, so can I learn swordsmanship from him now? Alphonse can't help but laugh. He turns to look at Lillian nearby and asks if I've reached the level where I can learn from him. Lillian nods, saying my progress has been remarkable. She thinks there's absolutely no problem. Alphonse ponders for a moment, saying then starting tomorrow, 2 hours of lessons per day. I immediately cheer. Yay! So happy I almost jump. Then I pull Alphonse along to have dinner together. I heard today's dessert is black forest cake. On the other side, The leader of Black Iris grips a letter. He says Prince Diablo seems very anxious. He says why not play along and cause a big scene? Let's see who gets the last laugh. On the training ground, my sword gets knocked flying by Alphonse again. My palm stings from the impact. I rub my hand and can't help muttering softly it hurts. Alphonse walks over to my side, his tone gentle as he points out my muscle strength still isn't quite enough. My shoulders droop and I look completely deflated, full of disappointment. But he changes his tone, saying I actually did very well this time. I immediately look up, my eyes sparkling bright, instantly cheering up. Alphonse also says that although I'm not tall, I'm exceptionally agile, and my focus is incredibly strong. He suggests I capitalize on these strengths, enhance what I'm good at. Practicing thrust attacks will be more effective. I suddenly understand and quickly thank Alphonse, saying I'll definitely practice hard. Looking at me full of motivation, Alphonse can't help but smile, his gaze particularly tender. At this moment, the butler approaches and hands over a letter. Alphonse clearly pauses when he sees the envelope, his expression becoming serious. He turns to me and says, "Today's training ends here." Then he calls for Lillian. He instructs her to take good care of me from now on. After speaking, he hurries away from the training ground. I stand in place wondering what letter could make him react so strongly. That evening, while Lillian helps me bathe, I can't help asking if being too strong will make Alphonse not see me as a woman. Lillian replies with a smile that Alphonse isn't that kind of person. He'll only be happier seeing me grow like this. After listening, I'm still a bit uncertain, my heart still troubled. On the other side, Alphonse reads the letter seriously in his study. Suddenly, there's a knock at the door. I gently push the door open, peek my head in, and ask if I'm disturbing him. Alphonse says it's fine and tells me to come in. I see his serious expression and guess he's probably encountered something troubling. Alphonse explains he's reading a letter His Majesty the Emperor sent. I quickly ask if something bad has happened again. He says currently in a small village in the outskirts, many villagers have lost their vitality. Those villagers' eyes have all become vacant. They look very wrong. If it were just a few people, that would be one thing, but now it's happening on a large scale, and it's mostly occurring in farming areas. His Majesty the Emperor is worried it will affect crop harvesting. Therefore, he needs to go inspect the territory quickly to find the source of the problem. On the carriage heading to the territory, I ask Alphonse if we're going to his jurisdiction. Alphonse nods, saying yes. That territory has been managed by his family since his great-grandfather's generation. He occasionally goes to inspect, but he didn't expect something like this to happen this time. I ask curiously how His Majesty the Emperor knows about these remote villages. Alphonse says His Majesty has eyes everywhere throughout the country, constantly monitoring for abnormalities. So this time, it's not simply an inspection at all. His Majesty is having him find the cause and solve the problem. I immediately tell Alphonse I'll do my best to help and won't hold him back. Alphonse can't help but smile hearing this. I continue saying that wherever he is, I'll follow. Hearing these words, Alphonse is clearly stunned, his eyes full of surprise. After quite a while, he softly responds, "Is that so?" I say excitedly that I'm really looking forward to visiting the Marquise's territory. However, when we arrive at the territory, I'm completely shocked. What's going on? The people in the territory are all listless, radiating exhaustion. Their eyes are so vacant, like covered by a layer of fog. The air feels stuffy too. Even the wind carries an indescribable oppressive feeling that makes people very uncomfortable. Alphonse and I walk into the territory side by side, my heart full of confusion. By nighttime, I can't help asking Alphonse what he thinks of the situation. The atmosphere here is so strange. Alphonse nods in response, saying those residents don't show any abnormal symptoms. He can only personally talk to them to understand the situation. I mutter with a frown, feeling like things are getting more and more complicated. Alphonse stands up and says there's no other way. They can only take it step by step. Then he moves closer to me and says it's getting late. We should rest for today. He'll take me back to my room, extending his hand to indicate I should follow him. My heartbeat suddenly accelerates and I instinctively reach out, taking his hand. That night, I'm sleeping soundly in my room. Suddenly, I hear someone softly calling Amy. I roll over, responding drowsily without opening my eyes. Then I hear Amy, "Wake up." I rub my eyes and open them. After seeing who it is, I'm startled. Alphonse is actually beside my bed. I stammer and ask, Alphonse, what's going on? Why are you in my room? Alphonse quickly makes a shushing gesture. He lowers his voice, saying the people outside are starting to move. I instantly wake up and ask what they're doing at this late hour. Alphonse doesn't explain further, just opens the door and walks toward the balcony, telling me to look down myself. I lean on the balcony railing and look. I discover many villagers are all holding candles, following the path in one direction. I ask Alphonse quietly where they're going at this hour. It looks so strange. Alphonse says he was just about to investigate the situation and asks if I want to come along. I immediately nod and say yes. At this moment, the villagers are still slowly walking forward. We follow behind them, staying close to the walls as much as possible, afraid of being discovered. We hide at a corner to watch where the villagers are heading. I notice all the villagers flocking toward a low, small building, not a single one falling behind. Everyone who comes out is holding an object, their expressions utterly satisfied. Watching this scene, I lower my voice and ask, what are they holding in their hands? I can't see clearly. Alphonse stares at the small building and says we need to investigate to find out, telling me to go inside and bring one out. What? Me again? I'm completely shocked. Then Alphonse takes out a headscarf, puts it on me, saying this way they won't recognize me. My heart feels a bit panicked, but I still nod and say I understand. I slowly approach the small building. As I push open the door, I smell a strange fragrance. I can't help but frown and cover my nose. Inside, the building is packed with villagers, all gathered around a person in black in the center. I notice that apparently, as long as someone bows to the person in black, they can receive something that looks like a candle. So I quickly blend into the crowd of villagers, mimicking their movements by bending and bowing, trying not to draw attention. The person in black indeed doesn't suspect anything and reaches out to hand me a candle. Secretly pleased, I take the item and quickly run to Alphonse's side to give it to him. Alphonse takes the item. Thank you for your hard work. Let's go to the study together to confirm what they are. We return to the study. Alphonse lights the candle placed on the table. After the candle starts burning, it emits faint white smoke and gives off a strange fragrance. I accidentally inhale a few breaths. Then my head gradually becomes dizzy and heavy, and my vision starts to blur. I shake my drowsy head, my consciousness wavers, and my whole body becomes weak. Seeing this, Alphonse immediately stands up. He reaches out and extinguishes the still burning candle on the table. He quickly walks to the window and pushes it open. Cold wind instantly rushes into the room, dispersing the lingering smell. I regain consciousness, not understanding why the sudden ventilation. He explains the candle contains hallucinogens and we must disperse the smell quickly. Hearing the word hallucinogens, my eyes widen in shock. He adds that although they need to send it for analysis of its components, this is most likely the reason the villagers have lost their vitality. I murmur, so that's why, but my vision gradually becomes hazy again. Seeing my condition getting worse, Alphonse is clearly panicking. He quickly walks to my side, gently calling my name. I barely manage to respond, saying it must be because I smelled the fragrance. He nods understandingly and suggests I rest first. With that, he starts escorting me back to my room. However, my steps become unsteady again, and my consciousness gradually fades once more. After returning to my room and lying on the bed, I quickly fall into deep sleep and start having sweet dreams. In the dream, a banquet is filled with dazzling lights. I'm wearing a beautiful gown, attending the feast. Then someone gently calls my name, the voice familiar and tender. I turn my head and see it's Alphonse. He's smiling at me and extending his hand as if inviting me to dance. Delighted, I accept his invitation. Then we follow the gentle rhythm of the music, slowly dancing in the ballroom. Midway through the dance, he slowly leans closer to me. His warm breath almost touches my cheek. I nervously close my eyes slowly. The next second, I feel his gentle kiss landing on my lips. Then I suddenly open my eyes wide. The room still looks familiar. I stare blankly, wondering if this was just a dream. The next day, sitting in the dining room, I stare at my plate in a daze. Seeing me so absent-minded, he asks with concern if my body hasn't recovered yet. I snap back to reality and say it must be because I inhaled the candle smell yesterday. My body hasn't adjusted yet. Suddenly, he asks if anything happened last night. I instinctively feel guilty, saying that I only had a sweet dream. He nods understandingly and says the hallucinogens' effects are stronger than expected. He tells me not to worry. He's already asked someone to analyze the candle's components, and the results should be ready tomorrow. Later, we come to the territory again. The scene along the road remains terrible. The villagers by the roadside still hang their heads, completely drained of energy, their eyes vacant and lifeless. Looking at them, I think to myself I can probably understand now why they've become like this. I only smelled a little and got dizzy. With their long-term exposure, it must be much more serious. We arrive at the wooden cabin we discovered before. Entering the cabin and looking around, we don't find any obvious unusual traces. Just as I finish speaking, the door behind us suddenly creaks open from outside. Alphonse immediately becomes alert, reaching out to pull me tightly behind him. I peek out from behind him. After seeing who it is, I'm utterly shocked. I see a young boy standing outside the wooden cabin. Surprised, I ask why there's a child here. Alphonse steps out of the cabin first, frowning as he asks the boy what he's doing here. The boy stammers for a long time but can't form a complete sentence. Alphonse loses patience. His expression becomes stern, looking somewhat intimidating. The boy is frightened by his appearance. His eyes redden, looking like he's about to cry. I quickly step forward and push Alphonse aside, saying if he questions like this, the child will be even more afraid to speak. I crouch down and smile at the boy, saying my name is Amy, and asking his name. The boy quietly answers, saying his name is Finian. Then I ask Finian if he can tell us why he came here. The boy steals a glance at Alphonse, still very scared, his body fidgeting. I turn to Alphonse and tell him to smile, otherwise the child will stay frightened. Alphonse pauses, then obediently pulls out a smile to comfort the boy. I tell the boy it's okay, to take his time. We're not scary people. I try asking him if he came here looking for something. Hearing this, the boy's body clearly trembles. He says quietly that his father and mother told him to come here to get candles. Hearing get candles, both Alphonse and I show shocked expressions. The boy continues, saying his parents told him having those candles would let them have sweet dreams, but he doesn't know why his parents later stopped getting up often. I ask him what not getting up often means. The boy explains that at first, after lighting the candles, his parents stopped going out to work. Now, once they fall asleep, they barely get up and just keep sleeping. It seems to be because of the candles, but his parents still told him to come get candles. I hug the boy with sympathy, softly comforting him not to worry. We'll help him. I turn to Alphonse and say we need to go visit this child's home. Alphonse nods, saying to bring the doctor too. The family doctor just arrived here. Arriving at the boy's home, I come to his parents' bedside and ask the doctor how their condition is. The doctor frowns and answers that both of them show severe symptoms of poisoning. I'm surprised, asking if they're poisoned. I can't believe it. The doctor explains he analyzed the candle's components at the mansion. It contains large amounts of hallucinogens. Long-term inhalation causes problems, and in later stages can even lead to coma. Hearing coma, my heart tightens. What should we do now? Alphonse says calmly that we must prevent residents from getting the candles. He needs to issue an order prohibiting residents from going out at night. I nod in agreement, saying the situation is urgent. This is all we can do now. That evening, I look out the window and say the residents aren't going out like they did yesterday. Alphonse says it's because he issued the order prohibiting going out, so no one dares violate it. Suddenly, someone runs out from the alley. I quickly call Alphonse to come look. Alphonse stares at that person and says they're willing to violate the order to go out, so they must really need the candles. I ask Alphonse what we should do now. Should we stop them? Alphonse says to follow and see what happens. Today he won't let me investigate alone. He'll come with me. I nod and say okay. Then we quickly change into casual clothes, preparing to take action. We just start following when we see many villagers sneaking out. These villagers walk hurriedly, all running toward the direction of that wooden cabin. Alphonse and I exchange glances and nod in understanding. We immediately follow them. Arriving at the wooden cabin, Alphonse says in a low voice that people came to get candles today as well. He adds that before it's just us and the person in black left, let's pretend to queue in the corner first. I quietly ask Alphonse why we don't just arrest the person in black right now. Alphonse explains that in the current situation, if we arrest him, the residents definitely won't let it go. I suddenly understand, so that's why. Then I nod to show I get it. Watching the villagers surrounding the person in black, I know in my heart that those candles are the root of the problem. I think to myself, to find the truth, we must catch this person in black. After the villagers finish getting their candles and leave, we slowly walk to the person in black. The person in black is about to hand out a candle when Alphonse suddenly reaches out and grabs his wrist. Then with force, he pins the person in black to the ground, quickly subduing him. Alphonse says sternly that by the authority granted by His Majesty the Emperor, he places him under arrest immediately. The person in black struggles and resists with great strength. Alphonse can't fully control him for a moment. Suddenly, the person in black pulls out a short sword from his sleeve. Seeing this, I quickly shout for Alphonse to be careful, my heart filled with tension. The person in black swings the sword, stabbing toward Alphonse. Alphonse reacts quickly and swiftly dodges the attack. I stand to the side, my heart in my throat, watching their movements intently. The person in black pants, looking at Alphonse and asking if he's the Emperor's loyal hound. Alphonse sneers in response, saying since he knows that, it means he's from the underground society. He has already analyzed the components of the candles distributed to the residents. They're too dangerous. What's his purpose? The man in black retorts that while candles are too dangerous for Alphonse, they represent hope for others. Hearing the word hope, I remember the boy asking me if his parents will ever wake up. Instantly angry, I say, what kind of hope can candles with hallucinogens possibly give people? Alphonse doesn't want to waste more words with the person in black, saying to save those words for prison. After hearing this, the person in black suddenly lets out a cold laugh. Just then, the wooden cabin suddenly starts shaking. Wooden planks from the roof fall down one after another. The cabin shakes more and more violently. I instinctively dodge to the side, my heart filled with panic. Seeing the urgent situation, Alphonse can't care about anything else. He only wants to come protect me. Alphonse rushes over and embraces me, holding me tightly in his arms. Without hesitation, he uses his own back to shield me from the falling wooden planks. Soon the dilapidated wooden cabin completely collapses. Choking dust scatters everywhere. The person in black, hiding in the distance, looks extremely pleased with this. Then he turns and quickly leaves the chaotic scene. Alphonse pushes away the wooden planks pressing on him. He slowly helps me stand up. Asking if I'm hurt, I answer I'm fine. I thought I was done for just now. After calming down, I quickly turn to ask if he's hurt. Just as I finish speaking, I see his hands covered in alarming blood. He still pretends to be relaxed, comforting me that he's fine. But I stare at that wound, my heart filled with guilt. It's all my fault. It's because he was protecting me that he got hurt. I can't help but cry, urging him to hurry back to the mansion to treat his wounds. He softly agrees and tightly holds my hand as we walk out of the ruins together. After walking just a few steps, I accidentally step on something. Looking down, I see it's a black iris flower. I really didn't expect it to be this organization again. I feel both angry and anxious. Meanwhile, deep in another forest, the person in black is reporting the situation to the leader of Black Iris. The person in black also mentions that the loyal hound brought a woman along. Hearing this, the leader thinks for a moment. He didn't expect what Prince Diablo said was true. It seems he needs to personally verify this himself. The next day, in the village, from far away we can hear villagers crying and shouting. Some say the building distributing candles has collapsed. Without sweet dreams, life has no meaning. They might as well be dead. Some even want to jump into the well. Fortunately, they're pulled back by patrolling knights. The knights escort people onto the carriage to leave. Watching the villagers' painful expressions, my heart heavy with sympathy. Alphonse walks over, saying it's good we arranged soldier patrols in advance. Otherwise, who knows how many incidents would occur. But I know the soldiers can't watch everyone all the time, and many villagers are still in comas without waking. Alphonse answers that the doctor still needs time to make the antidote. Until the antidote is ready, we can only watch like this. I nod gently, hoping in my heart that the antidote can be completed soon so the villagers can return to normal early. Night falls, and I am lying in bed resting. Suddenly, the familiar candle smell drifts into the room. I jolt awake, but the instant I inhale the fragrance, I suddenly lose all strength. my eyes becoming vacant. As if out of my control, I slowly rises from the bed, open the door, and walk downstairs. At this time, Alphonse is sitting in his study working. He suddenly hears footsteps. He immediately puts down his pen, stands up, and leaves the room. He sees me walking downstairs. Then he quickly rushes over and grabs my wrist. The instant he catches me, the fog-like confusion in my mind slowly disperses. My eyes also clear up. I turn to look at him, not understanding what happened. Alphonse asks in confusion how I'm here, saying he called me earlier but got no response. I quickly explain that I smelled the candle fragrance, so my body went out of control. After hearing this, Alphonse doesn't ask more. He turns and goes upstairs. He quickly reaches the window, looks down, and says, "I'm not the only one affected by the candles. Now many villagers are going out again." Alphonse worries about the villagers' safety and needs to hurry and follow to check the situation. Halfway there, he suddenly stops. He turns back, telling me to wait here for a moment. I pause, quickly agreeing. Soon he returns with a thick cloak. He carefully helps me arrange and put on the cloak, softly saying this way I'll be warmer outside. Only then do I belatedly realize I'm still wearing thin sleepwear. My cheeks instantly burn hot, feeling a bit embarrassed. We walk side by side toward the open space outside the village. After just a few steps, we suddenly stop. Looking at the scene before me, I'm instantly too shocked to speak. The open space ahead is densely packed with villagers. Everyone must have been attracted here by the candle fragrance. My gaze suddenly catches a familiar black figure. Looking closely, it's the person in black from before. My heart instantly sinks. The person in black is standing among the crowd, saying something to the villagers. I stare at him intently, thinking of his previous schemes. My heart fills with anger. Then I vaguely hear him saying he'll give everyone happy, sweet dreams, and someone is deliberately obstructing everyone's happiness. Then he suddenly points in our direction, loudly saying the person obstructing everyone is Marquise Midford. The villagers all turn to look at us. In small groups, they discuss how they work hard every day. Don't they deserve happiness? Seeing the villagers gradually being swayed by his incitement, I feel both scared and anxious. I quickly gather my courage and speak up, telling everyone to calm down first. Those dreams are all illusions. The important people are all by their sides. After finishing, I nervously look at the villagers. I notice their originally confused eyes gradually becoming clear. They've obviously sobered up somewhat. A gentle voice comes from beside me. Alphonse softly says I did well. He explains that he got antidote incense from the doctor and deliberately had this clothing saturated with the smell so everyone could wake up. And my words happen to become the trigger for the villagers to fully awaken. At this time, the villagers also gradually recover from their confusion. Their emotions gradually calm down. Seeing his incitement plan completely fail, the person in black turns to flee. Alphonse quickly tells me to arrange for the villagers to go home first while he chases and arrests the person in black. As soon as he finishes, he immediately turns and chases in the direction the person in black fled. I stand frozen in place, my mind a bit blank. Then I react, thinking I should first do what he asked. I say gently to the remaining villagers, telling everyone to return to their family members. The villagers all cooperate, slowly turning to walk toward their respective homes. After the last villager's figure completely disappears in the distance, I think everyone should have safely returned. Only then do I feel relieved. But thinking about it, Alphonse went to chase the person in black alone. I don't know if he'll encounter danger. I'm just about to turn around when an unfamiliar male voice suddenly comes from behind. That person greets me. I spin around sharply. Seeing someone I've never met before, my heart fills with surprise, not knowing who he is. That person laughs, saying he heard the Emperor's loyal hound always acts alone. He didn't expect him to be with me. I nervously ask who he is, not knowing if he's friend or foe, but he doesn't answer my question. Instead, he says before answering, he has something to ask me. What am I to the loyal hound? On the other side, Alphonse is chasing the person in black. The distance between them gradually closes. He seizes the person in black's opening and draws his sword. Soon he subdues the person in black. He says coldly that he will arrest him immediately. Come with him obediently. The person in black laughs coldly, asking if he's staying here. Doesn't he worry about that woman? Hearing these words, Alphonse's expression changes drastically. He suddenly remembers me. The person in black adds that they won't let go of anyone by the Emperor's loyal hound's side. The next second, the person in black suddenly takes his own life. Alphonse pauses. Now his heart only thinks of me. He immediately turns and runs back. While running, he calls my name, his voice full of panic, terrified something happened to me. Here, the strange man smiles and continues asking if I'd mind sharing my name. I stare at him intently and ask back if he's a member of Black Iris. He first pauses in confusion. Then he tilts his head back and laughs wildly. He didn't expect me to know about their organization. It seems I'm truly no ordinary lady. Looking forward to meeting again next time. Then he bows to me and takes out a black iris flower from his pocket and hands it over. I hesitate, then reluctantly accept it. Then he turns and vanishes in an instant. I'm so frightened I collapse to the ground, my mind in chaos. Unable to process what just happened, looking down at the flower in my hand, I confirm it's a black iris. That man just now also said our organization. So who exactly from the organization did I just meet? At this time, urgent footsteps come from the distance. I look up to see Alphonse running toward me. I quickly call him. He rushes over quickly, asking if I'm all right. Why didn't I go back to the village with the residents? While speaking, he sees the flowers in my hand. His expression suddenly changes drastically as he asks what that is. I hurriedly answer that a man gave me the flower, then he left. Alphonse doesn't ask more at the moment. Instead, he holds me, his voice gentle, saying, "Let's return to the mansion first." Back in the mansion study, after listening to my words, Alphonse says, "So that's what happened." He guesses that man is connected to Black Iris but isn't certain of his identity. I blame myself, saying if I had stalled him then maybe he could have been caught. Alphonse shakes his head, saying stalling him would only have put me in danger. He tells me not to overthink it. This matter comes to a temporary conclusion for now. At dawn they'll distribute antidote candles to the residents. I suddenly remember Finian and eagerly ask if I can personally deliver to his home, my eyes full of anticipation. Alphonse smiles and nods, saying of course I can. I instantly feel happy. All the earlier panic completely dissipates. The next day, arriving at Finian's home, I light the antidote candle. I stare at the flame, hoping it can wake his parents. Before long, Finian's parents gradually open their eyes. Finian immediately rushes over happily to hug them. Seeing them wake, joy surges in my heart. My earlier worries are put to rest. Finian hugs them and cries hard. His parents' eyes also redden, tears sliding down. Watching this family reunite, my heart feels warm. I feel all those efforts were worth it. After they calm down, I take out spare candles and instruct them to light them continuously for 3 days. Finian looks up at me with a smile, extremely grateful. I also smile, wishing their family happiness. Pushing open the door to leave, I see Alphonse standing not far away, seeming to have waited a while. He walks closer and asks about the situation. I tell him the child's parents and the villagers are all recovering. Thinking about this experience, I'm sincerely glad. Fortunately, he was there to help. Returning to Alphonse's mansion, the butler is already waiting at the door, face full of smiles. The butler says while we were away, everyone prayed sincerely for our safety and even guarded the mansion. Knowing dinner is prepared, and there are even my favorite custard cream puffs, I instantly feel excited. The next day at the training ground, I grip my sword and strike. My movements are more fluid than before. Alphonse raises his hand to counter. His sword attacks. I instinctively dodge. My reactions are faster than before. Alphonse stops and looks at me. His eyes show approval, saying I'm much more agile than before. In that case, he doesn't continue, but says that's enough for today. He still has work to handle. Watching his departing figure, I stand in place, wondering what he originally wanted to say. While bathing, I tell Lillian I think Alphonse has been acting unusual lately. I mention that Alphonse seems troubled, but I don't know how to describe it. Lillian says that's him gradually letting down his guard, not being troubled. I'm confused. She explains that Alphonse has been the head since childhood, later becoming the emperor's loyal hound. He's always been tense. He's very guarded toward others. Only I have approached him with an open heart, letting him relax. Just my presence by his side is enough to make him let down his guard. Hearing this, my heart feels sweet yet somewhat disbelieving. I sincerely hope it can truly be as Lillian says. On the other side, Alphonse is alone in the study. His brow is tightly furrowed, deep in thought. The butler gently pushes the door open. Seeing his troubled expression, he knows something is on his mind. Alphonse says in a low voice that he wants to give Amy a gift but isn't sure if it's appropriate. He fears this gift will pull her into his complicated world. The butler softly answers that in his view, as long as she's with him, Miss Esmeralda will go anywhere willingly. He believes that with them traveling together, they will surely bring peace to the underground society. After hearing this, Alphonse stops hesitating. He instructs the butler to send the letter at dawn. The butler takes the envelope. Before leaving, he advises him again not to worry so much, then quietly exits. Leaving him alone gazing out the window in a daze, Alphonse sighs softly that he's actually worrying about this. She truly is remarkable. The next day, while I am sleeping soundly, Lillian gently wakes me. She tells me a guest has arrived at the mansion, and Alphonse also went to the palace early in the morning. I mumble that he's not here, yet they're waking me up. I don't know what to do. Lillian hesitates before telling me the guests are my sisters, both of them. I instantly wake up, unable to believe my sisters suddenly came to visit. Not even bothering to wash up or get dressed, I frantically run to the reception room. Pushing open the door, I see my sisters. They're sitting on the sofa waiting for me. Eldest sister Melissa Coveney looks at me with a frown, saying, "How can I still be wearing sleepwear at this hour?" Second sister Agnier Mellower also chimes in that my hair is also very messy. I stand in place, my mind blank, completely not expecting them to come. They say in unison that they came specifically to see how I'm doing, their tone carrying concern. Hearing this, my mind completely freezes. This is so sudden. Before I can recover, they ask again if I always wake up this late. Too lax. I hurriedly argue that you came early, it's not that I woke up late. They tell me not to make excuses and ask if I've forgotten their instructions to never accept political arranged marriages. I nod, saying I know. I wonder why they suddenly bring this up. Melissa changes the topic, saying how can I be in a romance approved by father? They then ask me if this is with marriage as the premise. Have I already moved in with Alphonse? Don't I know the harm of political arranged marriages? They say bluntly they don't trust my judgment, and that this visit is to inspect Alphonse. Hearing this, I instantly panic, standing in place not knowing what to do, my palms sweating. At this time, Alphonse is having a meeting with Gallo at the palace. Suddenly, his body trembles noticeably. The movement obvious. Gallo stops what he's doing, looks at him with concern, and asks what's wrong, his eyes showing confusion. Alphonse says it's nothing, just feels like someone urgently needs to find him. Gallo teases him, asking if he's worried about Esmeralda at the mansion. Alphonse answers that if it's her, he's not worried at all, his tone full of trust. Gallo hands over the documents, telling him to focus on work for now. Alphonse takes the documents and responds, of course, his gaze immediately falling on the documents to review. Both stare at the document contents, discussing in low voices what scheme Black Iris is plotting again. On the other side, my sisters learn from me that I invited Alphonse into a relationship upon first meeting. It was really too reckless. I timidly argue that I've told Father about this, and Father agreed too, but they say Father wouldn't agree for no reason. It must be because Alphonse is a Marquis, and his family is close to the royal family. I can't help but admire them. They're worthy of being my sisters, thinking exactly the same as I did before. I admit I used to think that way too, but Alphonse is super good to me. They don't believe it at all. The two exchange glances, clearly thinking I'm blinded by love. They press further, telling me to specifically say what kind of person Marquise Midford is. They want details. I stammer, unable to give details. They ask again how Alphonse is good to me. I quickly tell them to calm down a bit, but they don't stop. They even question whether living together we've already slept together. Both embarrassed and anxious, I shout loudly, asking what they're talking about. It's not like that at all, but they laugh, saying since we're getting married anyway, why am I shy? They both nod together. I stammer an explanation that we're not in an intimate relationship yet. My face instantly turns completely red. They continue, saying I don't understand men. What do I plan to do in the future? Then they suggest that starting today, they'll teach me about men. After all, knowing is better than not knowing. Just like that, we talk until the sun sets. They ask if I've listened to what they just said, telling me to remember it well for future use. Being questioned drains all my energy. I'm completely worn out, with no mind to remember these trivial matters. They change the topic again, asking if Alphonse comes home late, saying they had hoped to meet him today to chat. At this moment, Lillian runs over to find me, calling out that Alphonse has returned. Hearing this, their eyes instantly light up, especially eager to see Alphonse. They spring up from their seats, planning to go meet this legendary brother-in-law immediately. I quickly pull them back, telling them to calm down and not get excited, but they shake off my hands, saying it's just greeting and chatting, no big deal. Then they hurry downstairs. They immediately spot Alphonse standing downstairs. They're instantly dazzled by his handsome face. I quickly step forward, wanting to explain the situation to him. Alphonse says he's already heard and knows they're my sisters. Then he begins introducing himself, saying he is Alphonse Midford. My sisters are stunned by Alphonse's handsomeness and dignity, unable to speak for a long time. Then they pull me aside and whisper shout at me, saying why did I never mention how handsome Alphonse is? He's so tall, strong, and perfect. Alphonse looks toward us, politely saying if he had advance notice, he would have made more preparations. They quickly say it's fine, adding that they came unannounced and praising Sir Midford for being so gracious. Alphonse smiles, saying it's no trouble at all. The atmosphere instantly relaxes considerably. Then he signals to the maids, who bring over 2 exquisite boxes, saying he hopes they will accept these gifts. The maids open the box, revealing 2 exquisitely crafted gemstone necklaces inside. My sisters are instantly dazzled again, their eyes lighting up. Alphonse adds that he hopes the necklaces will complement their beauty, his tone sincere and appropriate. They exclaim, "Oh my goodness!" clearly moved by his attitude and gifts. Alphonse turns to me and says, "Why didn't you tell me earlier that your sisters are so beautiful and charming?" He only just found out now. I didn't expect Alphonse to say such things. I get goosebumps all over. But the effect is indeed good. My sisters surround Alphonse with smiles, saying he's gracious and considerate. But suddenly I realize, the last person Alphonse gives such praise to is Miss Roxanne, and I've never received such treatment. At this moment, my sisters say it's getting late and bid us farewell. Alphonse smiles and says they're welcome to visit often. My sisters are extremely pleased to hear this. They then turn around and wave at me with satisfaction, saying they're leaving first. I weakly respond, bye-bye. Today's emotional ups and downs feel like riding a roller coaster. At night, I lie in bed unable to sleep, thinking about what crossed my mind during the day. My heart aches. The more I think about it, the more wronged I feel. Tears fall uncontrollably. At this moment, the door opens and Alphonse enters. I jump in surprise and quickly sit up. With a hint of petulance, I ask him what he's doing here. Alphonse sits down and says seriously, if he's hurt me, please tell him directly. I hold back for a while before asking why he's never said things like beautiful and captivating to me. I always want him to think I'm pretty, but he's never said it even once. Alphonse freezes for a moment and asks if he hasn't shown it. I immediately nod and say loudly, "That's right, never!" Alphonse falls silent, then softly apologizes, saying he didn't realize. I ask petulantly again if he means I'm unremarkable. Otherwise, why wouldn't he say it? Alphonse reaches out to stroke my hair and says it's not like that. He always thinks I'm beautiful and mistakenly assumed he'd shown it. He then kisses my hair and says seriously that I'm his beautiful lover. Hearing this, my heart softens. I say he needs to show it more from now on. The next day in Alphonse's study, he stares at a letter with furrowed brows, seemingly deep in thought. I call him several times before he finally snaps back to attention. I say helplessly that I've been calling him many times. What's he so focused on? He apologizes, saying he was too absorbed in reading the letter. He then asks what I need from him. I happily say the weather is super nice today, and and ask if he wants to go on a date with me. He freezes for a moment and asks, "A date?" Seeing my expectant gaze, he smiles and agrees. The carriage drives onto the bustling street. I see a newly opened dress shop and ask if he wants to check it out. He smiles and agrees. I then happily plan to visit the dress shop first, then other places. But I can't shake the feeling that he's somewhat distracted. When talking, I notice his eyes keep drifting elsewhere. I feel puzzled, wondering if something's wrong. The carriage slowly travels down the street. We get off and happen to see a shop with unique decoration not far away. I quickly point it out to him, but he suddenly leans close to me. He lowers his voice and says we need to quietly find a secluded place. My face instantly turns red, my mind goes into chaos. My head fills with thoughts of what he'll do to me next. I'm shaking my head and nodding at the same time. Before I can react, he takes my hand and quickly walks into a nearby alley. I feel both anticipation and shyness. The alley is so quiet we can hear each other's breathing. He suddenly turns back toward me. He raises his hand and pins me between the wall and himself. The distance closes instantly. I instinctively purse my lips, thinking he's going to kiss me. My heart pounds wildly. His warm breath draws closer and closer. I even start breathing more softly, but he only leans close to my ear and whispers that we're being followed. He says to lure the stalker over like this. My expectations dashed, I'm completely speechless. I hate that he's such a blockhead. We pretend not to notice anything unusual and walk slowly along the alley. The footsteps behind us feel like death's pursuit, making me nervous. At a corner, Alphonse pulls me quickly into a dead end nearby. The stalker in black doesn't notice and draws his sword. He also follows to the corner, but sees only me standing there. His face shows complete shock as he realizes he's been tricked. Before he can shout, Alphonse suddenly attacks from above him. His arm locks around the man's neck. He subdues him to the ground in one swift move. Alphonse presses his shoulder and asks sternly why he's following us. But the man just grits his teeth and says nothing. At this moment, many men in black pour out from the alley. They slowly surround Alphonse, all brandishing sharp swords. The atmosphere freezes instantly. Watching this scene, I feel both worried and frightened. Alphonse turns and shouts at me to step back. It might get a bit dangerous next. I obediently step back slowly, afraid Alphonse might get hurt by the men in black. At this moment, the men in black gather their strength and leap into the air. They all attack Alphonse with their swords. However, before long, the attacking men in black are all knocked to the ground. The remaining men in black start trembling, their previous fierce momentum completely gone. Alphonse walks to my side and gently reassures me. He says he absolutely won't let me get hurt. His tone is full of certainty. Hearing his words, warmth flows through my heart. My previous tension is instantly replaced by emotion. The remaining men in black, whether from humiliation or unwillingness, suddenly surge forward toward us again. Alphonse is prepared, his gaze instantly becoming sharp as a blade. In no time at all, he swiftly defeats all the charging men in black. Watching his impressive display, I can't help but exclaim how amazing he is. Alphonse grabs one of the men in black, wanting to interrogate who sent them, but the man keeps his mouth shut and refuses to speak. Within seconds, he faints directly. I walk forward and quietly remind Alphonse that he seems to have lost control of his strength. All the men in black have fainted. Alphonse nods and explains that thinking about me possibly getting hurt made him uncontrollably anxious. Hearing this, my heartbeat suddenly accelerates. A feeling of affection spreads through me. I look at the men in black scattered on the ground, worried about how to deal with them. Alphonse also frowns in thought. He says they'll need to find someone to help handle these people. Before long, cheerful laughter echoes. Prince Gallo walks toward us, asking what we've gotten involved in this time. He looks at the men in black, on the ground, suspecting they might be from Black Iris. Alphonse shakes his head, saying it's too early to judge. Alphonse seems to think of something and continues talking with Gallo. I stand at a distance watching them talk. I can't hear the specifics and can only wait anxiously. I'm actually curious about what they're discussing. Before long, the two finish talking and walk toward me. I feel delighted that they finally finished. Gallo asks with concern if I was frightened. I quickly curtsy and say I'm fine. Gallo doesn't believe me, saying encountering such things during a date couldn't possibly be fine. He says he'll take responsibility for sending the men in black to Midford Manor and let me continue enjoying the date. Hearing this, I think to myself that Alphonse doesn't care whether this is a date. He'll definitely want to go with him to interrogate them. Here, Alphonse quickly says he also wants to go back together. Just as expected. Gallo turns around with a smile and reminds him that doing so will make him miss the date. I'll surely be upset, and the men in black still need some time to wake up, so there's no rush. Watching Prince Gallo being so considerate, my heart fills with gratitude. Prince Gallo waves his hand, telling us to enjoy the date slowly. After speaking, he quickly leaves. Only Alphonse and I remain. He says beside me that since that's the case, my heart stirs. I pretend my legs are weak from fright and gently lean against Alphonse. I pretend to be weak and say I seem to have been frightened just now. Seeing this, Alphonse quickly says this won't do. We must return to the manor immediately. I quickly explain that's not what I mean. Going to a cafe for some tea should help. After saying this, I feel somewhat shy. Alphonse freezes for a moment, clearly not catching on. After a few seconds, he understands my meaning. He can't help but smile and say, I see. Let's go to the cafe then. We arrive at the cafe together. I drink my coffee, feeling very happy. I think the coffee tastes tastes especially good. Alphonse sits across from me watching, his eyes full of deep affection. I think of what just happened and ask Alphonse if he'll interrogate those men in black when he returns to the manor. I wonder why they targeted us. Could they be from that organization again? Alphonse says there's a high possibility it's that organization, but he can't be completely certain. Hearing his words, my mind fills with confusion. What does this mean? Alphonse says that through his network of informants across various regions, he's learned that besides Black Iris, there's a new special force. He emphasizes that this force's target is the perfect human body. My heart tightens. Could it be human trafficking again? Alphonse shakes his head in denial, saying their ultimate goal is even more terrifying. It's the descent of a god. He adds that recently, freshly buried corpses in various places are often stolen. Now they're even reaching out to the living. I feel chills all over, stammering as I ask what they're doing with corpses and living people. Alphonse answers that the group takes perfect parts from various human bodies to stitch together for a god to descend into. My eyes widen in disbelief as I cry out, "What?" Alphonse continues, saying the organization is called Frankenstein. The Crown Prince worries that Dr. V might be interested in this research, fearing it will trigger greater chaos. If Frankenstein contacts Black Iris first, the consequences will be unthinkable. This thought makes my scalp tingle. I can hardly believe the situation has become this dangerous. Alphonse worries that if they cooperate, who knows what kind of monsters and chaos will be born. Hearing this, I suppress my fear and drink all my coffee in one gulp. I tell Alphonse I understand. We must catch them quickly. Let's hurry back to the manor to prepare. Alphonse nods in agreement. Returning to Alphonse's manor. As soon as we enter, I hear explosive news. I blurt out in shock, "How can this be?" Alphonse turns to the butler and says, "Explain in detail." The butler bows and replies. He says when the carriage returned to the manor, those stalking men in black were all dead. From the foam in their mouths, they apparently committed suicide by poison, leaving no survivors. My legs go weak hearing this. My body trembles uncontrollably. Fortunately, Lillian supports me. "What about their bodies?" Alphonse asks. The butler answers they're all placed in the backyard for now. Alphonse orders to summon a coroner to check if there are any other clues. He needs to go out first. After speaking, he turns to leave. "Alphonse!" I urgently call out to him. Alphonse turns at the sound. "Where are you going?" "I want to come too." I step forward, not wanting him to go alone. Alphonse gently shakes his head and tells me to rest at home today. Then he looks at Lillian and asks her to take care of me. After speaking, Alphonse opens the door and leaves alone. I stand in place watching, the direction he left, my heart feeling squeezed, full of worry for him. "Miss, let's return to your room." Lillian gently urges me. I respond vaguely. My mind keeps repeating, Alphonse must return safely. In a dimly lit laboratory somewhere, equipment reflects eerie light. The Black Iris leader asks Dr. V if he's interested in that experiment. Dr. V raises his voice in response, saying he's extremely interested. To think of such a method. He really wants to meet him quickly. Ha ha ha. Understood. Understood. The leader is amused by him. "So shall we make contact?" A woman nearby asks, her gaze fixed on the leader awaiting instructions. "Please do." The leader nods in approval, his lips curving into a meaningful smile. The show is about to begin. The leader holds up a black iris to admire. A hint of cunning flashes in his eyes. Early the next morning, I sport enormous dark circles under my eyes. Without a trace of sleepiness, I wonder, hasn't Alphonse returned yet? I worried so much last night that I couldn't sleep at all. My spirits are very low now. "Good morning, Miss Lillian." Enters the room carrying a tray, gently greeting me as I sit in a daze. She says she's prepared breakfast tea with jasmine to relieve fatigue. Thank you. I take the teacup and sip. The jasmine fragrance lingers at my nose. Lillian then takes out a letter from Alphonse from the tray and hands it to me. I receive the letter with both surprise and joy. My fingers tremble as I quickly tear open the envelope. After reading the contents, clearly, I freeze completely, my mind full of confusion. "What is this?" I look at Lillian and say, "Alphonse is telling us not to leave the manor for now." Lillian freezes, clearly not expecting this arrangement either. I can't help but raise my voice, asking why this is necessary. We've endured even harder times together before, but this time we must be separated. Lillian watches my agitated state, not knowing how to comfort me. I suddenly remember the letter and quickly ask Lillian where it was delivered from. I must go see for myself. As I speak, I start to get up. My feet have already stepped out, but Lillian says behind me that I won't be able to find Alphonse. She explains the letter was sent by Alphonse en route. No one knows his exact location now. Hearing this, I can only silently walk back and sit on the bed, my mood hitting rock bottom. I mutter quietly, wondering if I really can't help Alphonse at all. Lillian says it's not that I can't help at all, but unfortunately this time I truly can't. She tells me not to blame myself too much. She adds that Alphonse is also doing this for my safety, asking me to be more understanding. I think Lillian makes a very good point. I must make a change, so I throw off the blanket. While taking off my nightgown, I say I'm going to the sword practice grounds right now. Lillian is startled and asks why I'm going so early. She also reminds me I haven't eaten breakfast yet. After speaking, she hurriedly catches the nightgown I toss over. I put on my training clothes and and say I'll eat breakfast later. All I can think about now is practicing swordplay. Seeing my determination, Lillian can only nod in agreement. On the way to the training grounds after changing clothes, I gradually understand Alphonse's meaning. With my current strength, not only can't I help, but I'll actually become a burden to him. So I make up my mind to become stronger. Strong enough that Alphonse won't have to worry about me anymore. Arriving at the training grounds, I pick up a sword and start practicing. Each movement is more forceful than usual. My arms gradually ache, but I still don't stop and continue swinging the sword. When I practice until exhausted, I finally stop to rest. I wonder if there's still no news from Alphonse. It's been a week since I received the letter. My heart grows more worried. Just then, Lillian softly calls me. I turn at the sound. She advises that I've been practicing swordplay for a week now. If I don't rest, my body will collapse. Hearing this, I can only nod in agreement, saying to wake me immediately if there's any news about Alphonse. Lillian responds that she understands. When night falls, I'm physically and mentally exhausted and quickly fall asleep in bed. Inside the Marquise's manor, all is quiet, but outside the manor stand many men in black, eyeing the place menacingly. They take advantage of the night to climb over the walls into the manor. Their movements are light, clearly well prepared. Lillian has already noticed, saying so they're uninvited guests. She draws her sword without hesitation. With swift movements, she strikes. In just a few moves, she defeats the charging men in black, knocking them to the ground. Lillian looks at the corpses on the ground and says coldly to come back next time after receiving an invitation. Inside the manor, other servants and maids also grab weapons to fight the men in black. Under everyone's siege, the men in black have no power to fight back and are quickly wiped out. The butler walks over and says sternly that they must strengthen security around the study and Mrs. Room. No more accidents can happen. The servants respond in unison, their voices loud and clear. Just then, Alphonse's voice sounds, saying he's returned a bit late. The butler turns around and greets him respectfully. Alphonse frowns and says he didn't expect Frankenstein's people to dare sneak into his manor. He immediately asks if security around Amy's room has been strengthened. The butler says of course, they've arranged ample manpower to guard around Miss. She's sleeping peacefully now. He asks if the case is more serious than stated in the letter. Alphonse falls silent for a moment and says he has a strong feeling that Frankenstein has already made contact with Black Iris. While closing the door, the butler asks puzzledly what evidence makes him think so. Alphonse answers that the number of recently kidnapped people and the number of stolen corpses are increasing at a fixed multiple. This is very unusual. Frankenstein alone couldn't possibly achieve this. They must have help. He pauses, his tone becoming heavier. He says they've already collected human bodies and stitched them together, creating monsters. The butler is so shocked hearing this that he can't speak. Meanwhile, in my room, someone stands quietly at my bedside watching me. I sense something. I suddenly wake up and sit bolt upright in bed, crying out loudly. The person quickly covers my mouth, telling me to calm down. I look carefully and see it's Lillian. I breathe a sigh of relief, saying she startled me. I ask why she suddenly came in and if something happened. Lillian looks at me and smiles, saying Alphonse has returned. Hearing this, I'm overjoyed and want to quickly get up to find him. However, when I reach out to grasp the doorknob, my body suddenly trembles uncontrollably. A wave of weakness instantly sweeps through me. My consciousness begins to blur. An unfamiliar drowsy fragrance lingers at my nose. The scene before my eyes gradually darkens. I fall uncontrollably toward the ground, completely losing consciousness. It turns out the Lillian just now was a Black Iris woman in disguise. In the hall, Alphonse remains concerned about my safety and wants to check on me personally. The butler follows beside him, gently reassuring that security has been strengthened at my door. He needn't worry too much. But as soon as Alphonse approaches my room, he's suddenly shocked. The servants at the door have all collapsed on the ground unconscious. He hurriedly pushes open the door and calls my name. The lingering drowsy fragrance in the room instantly makes his chest tighten. On the bed lies only a lonely Black Iris. I'm long gone. Alphonse is enraged and immediately understands what happened. Search this area immediately! We must find Amy! Alphonse roars the command. In the deep forest, a carriage races through the night. Inside the carriage, I remain unconscious, unable to resist. The butler rushes to Alphonse's side, reporting with deep guilt that they couldn't find any trace of Miss. Alphonse can barely hide his distress, his brows furrowed tight. He wonders if their target was Amy from the very beginning. On the other side, I gradually wake from unconsciousness. I sit up groggily. The drowsy fragrance from earlier still takes effect. Looking around at the unfamiliar environment, my mind is blank. Where is this? At this moment, a strange man walks to the door and introduces himself as Kenyal, a doctor with Frankenstein. Hearing the word Frankenstein, my heart suddenly sinks. It's them! Kenyal says greedily that I'm as beautiful as rumored. If they can attach my head, the ideal goddess will surely be born. These words make my skin crawl instantly. I clutch my neck and demand to know what he means. Kenyal ignores my question and says the body is nearly complete. I should wait just a little longer. He advises me not to get excited, saying I'll soon be reborn as a goddess. I'm furious. What nonsense is he spouting? It's my head they want to cut off. He stops paying attention to me and instead turns to his subordinates, ordering them to watch me carefully. They cannot let the material suffer any damage. I'm trapped in this cell, both anxious and frightened. My mind is in complete panic, not knowing what to do. Just thinking about my head being cut off. I can't help but close my eyes tightly and shed tears. My mind is filled entirely with Alphonse. On the other side, Alphonse's mind is full of self-blame. It's all because of his negligence. That had put Amy in such a dangerous situation. The butler watches Alphonse and gently soothes him, him, telling him to stay calm. Such panic isn't like him. Alphonse blames himself, saying it's his fault. It's all because of him that Amy is in danger. His voice trembles as he says Amy must be terrified right now. He must find her quickly. Alphonse then looks up with determined eyes. He stands up and orders to compile all the information from this period and locate their headquarters. He keeps repeating in his mind, Amy, wait for me. I will definitely rescue you. Meanwhile, I'm curled up in the cold cell. My mind keeps wondering how much time has passed. Even if I desperately want to escape, I can't find the right opportunity. The only exit is that cell door. What can I do to get out of here? Just then, a man in black opens the cell door and coldly tells me to come out. I then follow him into the corridor. After walking a few steps, I spot the perfect opportunity. I suddenly reach out and fiercely grab the man in black's face, using all my strength to push him aside. The moment I push him away, I swiftly turn and run. Urgent pursuing footsteps immediately sound in my ears. I suddenly stop in my tracks. Before he can react, I lift my foot. I viciously kick toward his groin. Then I knee him hard in the face. The man in black's nose instantly bleeds. He staggers and falls to the ground with a thump. I finally breathe a sigh of relief. Thank goodness I learned self-defense from Lillian before, or I'd be done for. I quickly calculate in my mind. Since he called me material, he surely won't harm me immediately. Since there's no immediate danger to my life, I must escape this hellish place quickly. A door head suddenly opens with a creak. Hope instantly ignites in my eyes. But when I walk closer to look, outside the door is actually another long corridor. Hope shatters in an instant, but I don't dare stop. I grit my teeth and encourage myself. In any case, I'll go this way first. I'll surely find an exit. I run desperately along the corridor, my mind full of confusion. Good heavens, what kind of crazy building is this? No matter how much I run, I can't see the end. It's like a maze. I collapse weakly on the ground, gasping for breath. How can I possibly escape from here? Suddenly, my back seems to touch some kind of mechanism. Then with a click, the mechanism turns. I also fall backward with it. I crash to the ground with a thud. I rub my aching waist and slowly sit up, looking around. Where is this? The room before me is surprisingly luxurious, completely unlike the cold cell from before. Right in front of the room are two gleaming swords. I quickly walk over and pick up the sword, gripping it tightly. My heart feels more at ease. I carefully push open the room's door, but outside is still an endless corridor. I can only grit my teeth and continue running forward, not daring to delay for a moment. After running for a while, a person suddenly appears from around the corner ahead. My heart tightens. I immediately raise my sword and press it directly against his neck. My voice is tense as I say I have no time to waste on him. I directly ask him where this place is. The man, with a sword at his neck, says this is Frankenstein's research facility. Hearing this, my heart sinks heavily. This is the place where they create monsters? He jumps up and down frantically, shouting, it's not monsters, it's perfect humans. He also says it's for the apotheosis ritual, which can revive the dead. He's here as a sponsor to witness the ceremony. I stare at his panicked state, only cold laughter remains in my heart. Absurd. This is complete nonsense. Suddenly, he roars toward the distance. Someone come quick! A woman is trying to kill me. As soon as he finishes speaking, a group of men in black rush over. I don't dare linger and turn to run. My mind is cursing frantically. What kind of crazy structure is this building? No matter how much I run, it's like going in circles. The men in black pursue relentlessly behind me. Their footsteps echo sharply with rapid taps. Before long, they surround me completely. I'm done for! The lead man in black says coldly to come with them obediently. They don't want me to get hurt. After all, I'm important material for tonight's ritual. I grip the sword tightly in my hand, my nails digging into my palm. Who's going to comply willingly? Before I finish speaking, I draw my sword and thrust it at him. I then swing my sword and leap into the air, dodging attacks from the side. When I land, in one swift motion, I take down several more men in black who got close. I take advantage of the chaos to turn and keep running. But more men in black block the path ahead. Move aside! I swing my sword at him without hesitation. The man in black immediately falls to the ground, barely breathing. I then press my sword directly against his neck and demand to know how to get out of here. Behind me, thundering footsteps suddenly sound. Even more men in black are flooding in. I'm done for. There are too many of them. I grit my teeth in resistance, my arms clutching the sword firmly. I aim at them, ready to fight. Even so, I can't give up. Come on. In the end, I'm still captured by them. There really were too many of them. At the cell door, Dr. Kenil is smiling and telling Dr. V how delighted he is to share knowledge with him. I hear Dr. V and am instantly shocked. He's from Black Iris? Dr. V compliments him, saying Dr. Kenil is the true genius. This idea is too fascinating. The two walk over, their eyes glancing at me. Now they only need this woman's head to complete that body? Dr. Kenil says yes, and then picks up the white cloth beside me. He yanks it off abruptly. Ah, what is that thing? A stitched corpse without a head. Dr. Kenil tells me to calm down. I struggle desperately and scream. How can I calm down? You're going to cut off my head and attach it to that corpse. Dr. Kenil says matter-of-factly, that's right. This way I can be reborn as a goddess. I'm trembling with fury. He's completely insane. Stop spouting such nonsense. Release me from this hellish place immediately. Dr. V shakes his head beside me, saying I truly don't understand science. Their curiosity is on a level approaching art. He stares at that corpse and murmurs, After attaching the head, where will the soul of the reborn body come from? Will it be my soul? Or someone else's? I shout loudly that it's just a stitched corpse. It can't possibly move. They laugh eerily, saying they'll use the power of science to make her move, and I'll become the most perfect goddess. They all start wondering what the Emperor's loyal hound will think when he sees all this. I catch sight of the saws piled in the room, their cold light flashing. Dr. V picks up a saw and approaches me step by step. Terror instantly grips my heart. I scream desperately, "No, don't come closer. Let me go." Just then, a group of men in black stumble in, shouting something's wrong. "Doctor, flee quickly." Dr. V frowns and asks what the panic is about. What happened? The man in black's face is deathly pale as he says it's the Emperor's soldiers. They've surrounded this place. Hearing this, my eyes light up. I'm saved. It's the soldiers. Is Alphonse here too? Dr. Kenniel jumps up frantically, saying they can't abandon this perfect body. They must take it with them. The two doctors prepare to flee in a hurry. Dr. Weiss suddenly turns back and says to bring my head too. They can't leave it behind. My pupils contract sharply. "No, you can't do this." A man in black picks up a saw and approaches me step by step. I'm terrified and tell them they can't do this to me. However, the saw draws closer and closer to my neck. I cry out in despair, "Alphonse, save me quickly."